There we go.
I went ahead and
That's a very good game of the year.
okay, so I grabbed a generic one that
It's
was
very
not
good. I
like
like it.
I had to work very hard to find one that one wasn't the Game Awards game of the year and two
Yep.
didn't actually show a game.
Yep.
Because most of the ones that I looked were like, oh, well, here's the game of the year. It's obviously, or it's literally
It's
the
a
Game
game.
Awards game of the year, or PC Games game of the year. And it's like, well, I don't want that. And I didn't want the number either. I kind of actually like the idea of not having a specific number on here. Like most of the ones obviously from this year were either, like almost all the ones that I found were either, uh, what was it? The two ones that won, God of War or that other Bloodborne, whatever it's called.
Elden Ring?
Elden Ring, that one, yeah. Those are pretty much the only ones I ever found. So I'm happy we got other options. But
Okay, looking at my list, so you saying that has reminded me of something. Most of my games of the year in the past have been like games that have not come out that year because I tend to play like old games.
same.
I think over 3/4 of my games on this list actually came out this year.
I don't actually know the release dates on most of these games, so I couldn't tell you. For me, I genuinely couldn't. I can tell you that of my honorable mentions, I think the majority of them did come out this year.
All my honorable mentions came out this year. I think there's literally 3 games on my list
Okay.
that did not come out this year.
I was gonna
Wow,
say,
that's weird.
as for my honorable mentions, there's objectively one that did not come out this year, and I also have asterisks on it because technically I didn't play it for the first time or beat it for the first time this year. I just literally completely deleted it from my brain and replayed through it.
Hey,
So spoilers, you kind of figure out that my honorable mention is Bioshock 2.
what? Yeah. So what I was thinking we do is go from 10 to 3, and then do honorable mentions there because we all know what our 1 is. So
Sounds
we're using
perfect.
the
Yeah, that actually seems
scale.
really good. 10 to 3, and then we do honorable mentions. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
My
Yeah, that
two
sounds
is
great to me.
spicy.
I think my two's pretty spicy too. But I mean, I guess we'll find out. I think half the part is going to be just us actually kind of chit-chatting about that too.
I don't think you guys could guess what my 2 is.
I feel like of all of us, I'm the most predictable, but I also feel like I'm the one who's been streaming most of my gameplay more than you guys. Like I haven't been able to like peer over you guys' shoulder every hour for the games you've played versus I think
A lot of
90% of my
these-
gameplay has been streamed.
A lot of these I did not stream. There's at least one on here that I would give you 1,000 guesses and you probably would not get.
That's fair. Okay. Well then, did we want to immediately get into it and start with our 10s, or do we want to chat a bit more about the year in general?
Why am I sleeping? Let's chat a bit more about the year in general.
That sounds great. I have to admit, I did not play way too many games from this year because I was kind of not wanting to buy a bunch of brand new releases. So other than, I think the new releases I mainly played were from either Game Pass or something I had been like anxiously waiting for, or was like an indie game. Which I'll be honest, I'm actually kind of happy about that. I feel like, I maybe I don't know the true definition of indie, but I think most of my games are indie games.
I tend to play mostly indie games. I would say pretty much all my games here are indie or like AA. There's no AAA games here. Oh no, there's one AAA game here, kind of, I guess.
Do I have AAA games?
I already know I have
my
a
year was
AAA game.
Yeah, no, my year was definitely shaped by the Game Pass. I mean, I think I've played so many more new games than I wouldn't have even tried or ventured into trying. Yeah. I don't know when my games came out because I don't pay attention to that as well.
I mean, that's kind of why I actually like what we're doing. Like, I feel like this is much more practical for a lot of people of like, hey, this is just a game I played this year, and it happened to be just a really good game. It doesn't matter if it's from 10 years ago or not. It's still a good game, and it's still one I would definitely recommend to people if I ever remember it. That's probably my biggest issue. 90% of the time, I feel like there are games that I super enjoyed. I just wouldn't ever remember to recommend it to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine. I was kind of weirdly the opposite this year. Most of my games did not come out on Games Pass. At least I didn't like. I didn't play. One of them like was on the Games Pass, and I didn't even play it on there. And a lot of like I normally play just older games, and all of the like so many of these are brand new releases. So that's very off brand for me, and here we are.
That's fair. I'm actually wondering. Okay, so I am curious. I think I might be the only one. Do you guys have any free games on your list this year?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm not the only one.
I have one that's free in my honorable mentions. Actually, I have two free in my honorable mentions and one in my main list. How many honorable mentions do you all have? I have 3.
I have 6 because I also cut. So originally I had 20, and then I cut down to 10 that are going on my top 10, and then 10 on the short list or the honorable mention list. And I'm like, that's too many games for the honorable mention list. So I cut down my honorable mention list to 6, which still feels like it's pushing it.
That's still quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the problem is like every single game that's on here. I also kind of threw in Bioshock under honorable mentions, or Bioshock 2, because it was just kind of too funny for how much I enjoyed it for a game that I already technically played through, but felt like it was brand new again. Like, that's the one that's kind of like cheat. I can throw that one out there because I've already said it, and like say, okay, then it's only 5 now. I felt like 5 was okay. And then Bioshock was kind of the cheat one. Bioshock 2 was kind of the cheat one, I mean.
Sure.
I probably have like 5-ish.
Yeah.
I'll mention all my honorable mentions.
Okay, so I need to add to my honorable mentions. Got it.
I mean, if there's stuff that you think deserve it, I like I said yesterday, I actually caught 4 from mine, which is weird to me, like because I think I looked fondly back on them, but they weren't like oh my god, the best things I ever played. Like Henry Stickmin Collection, for example, was one that I cut, and it's just because like it felt really fun and I really enjoyed playing it, and I like nearly 100%ed it, and I feel like it's hard to say. If you nearly 100% a game, that isn't just like just giving it to you for playing through the game, right? Like, I think ZTD is actually a good example of that. All the Nonary games, you're essentially, if you play through the game, you're 100%ing the game. There's not really a choice there. Versus like, in most other cases, if I 100% the game or 99% the game, it's hard for me to not feel like at least it deserves some accolades, whether or not that's you know, honorable mentions or just like me thinking about considering it, you know?
That's fair. I will say I made a list of as much as I could all the games I played this year, and it was only 30 long. It was like just under 30. So I was basically just picking a tenth of the games I played this year. To be fair,
that's wild.
I basically played 40 games this year, so
okay. I'm surprised. Yeah. I thought I would be the lowest by a lot.
I'm a full-time nerd, so
my number. Yeah, you don't.
Well, so part of it's also like, what really counts as playing? Do I count all of those games that I tried out for 15 minutes? Not really.
Yeah, I wouldn't count those.
But I played through a lot.
Yes, you did. So it's like I'm saying the 99 games have the optional lore docs and secondary puzzles in the escape rooms. That's true.
That's true, but like I would still argue that on average 999 and those special or those general ones, like the difference between somebody 100%ing and like just playing through to get the ending, like the real ending, like I don't count like
any ending,
any generic ending that just doesn't really make you feel happy. Like it's like the start of ZTD. If you just pick the wrong coin flip, yeah, sure, I beat the game and I got an ending and I got the credits to roll.
I haven't played these yet.
Okay, I don't really count that as a spoiler. You can get the credits to roll. Is that really beating the game? Does it actually? The better statement is:
yes.
Are you going to feel good enough with that and stop playing?
It's the same thing. Like Nier Automata is honestly the same. Like people call each of the different endings like playthroughs, but it honestly like they're so radically different. It's just the same playthrough. It's not a real ending. Like,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel with those as well.
Yeah.
Is it's not actually an ending.
You're
it's
not really
just,
finishing the game. You're just getting credits to roll. And I think that's actually a distinguishable difference that most people don't consider because it doesn't really come up very often. I feel like not very many games have like, oh boy, I made the credits roll, but it feels like kind of hollow and empty. Like, did I really accomplish what I came to here to do, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Multiple valid endings. Yeah, it's kind of like if you have a true ending or multiple valid endings, like, yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's part of why, like, for me, there was the close of, like, the Henry Stickmin collection. I feel like I was throwing that out there to talk about anyways, because I don't think you guys even... I don't think it was on either of your brains to think about that game, and I don't think... I think you kind of understand the fact that I wouldn't put it on a top 10, especially knowing the games we played, but also like it's kind of cool hearing about it and being like, actually that's not that lame of a game. They also it's cool seeing something that's kind of like from the Flash era in general, which I never played during the Flash era.
That's fair. I do have one game like on my list proper that's not wouldn't necessarily make a top 10 list, but I put it there because I want to see more of that style of game.
That's fair.
And I like that as like a step forward. So I kind of use my list for that a bit. But
nice. Yeah.
Almost breaks that. I'd argue genocide is as valid as true pacifist, even though you don't get credits in this first from happiness, but it's just me. Yeah. So I will say on the topic of endings in games, I think that it's very, very hard to make multiple endings and just choices in general in games like meaningful and matter.
Yeah.
I think Undertale does it really well.
Yes,
but
I agree with that.
I think most games like should not have multiple endings and should just have like just focus on having a one true ending and be done with that.
Honestly, probably the right bet. I would agree.
Not universally. I have one game on here that has it's like 30 different endings or whatever, and I think it's correct.
You think it's okay?
I mean, that's fair. I think especially for this is the weird thing. I like visual novels for their branching narratives and choices, but also ironically at the same time when you have ones that are very clearly like one true ending, it does feel a little silly when you're like trying to tell one story and like it's like, well, but you could do all these other stories, but it's like, but am I really doing that? I guess that's probably why dating novels are so so popular for visual novels, because it's actually kind of not that crazy to just have like a story where you're going with this person and it makes sense and it's a good fulfilling-ish ending, because you know that's just how dating kind of works in real life.
Yeah, there's like multiple and like it's multiple distinct stories that all branch off of like one starting story, which actually weirdly the original Fate visual novel is basically 3 just completely separate retellings of one story, and that's the only one I can think of that's not like an actual proper like dating sim type thing.
I'm trying to think, do your choices in Danganronpa matter like at all?
No, not even slightly, right? Except for like there's one maybe at the very end.
Yeah,
they do like the terrible ending thing where it's like,
it's not really an ending.
Yeah, it's like you could make one choice and that determines your ending, and it's like, why?
Yeah, DR1 Trial 5 is the only one that does it, and it's like, it's an ending, but like, it's literally, but wait, I don't actually want that to happen, and then it just routes back to the same straight line, you know?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's kind of interesting to me. Get a CG is required for an achievement. Yeah, but like, I think the more interesting thing for me is like, there is still tons of other content that is just straight up relevant anyways that you wouldn't just get in the main Danganronpa. I think Danganronpa is actually a really good example of how you can have a linear visual novel that still has a bunch of other fun stuff for like discovery and things like that.
It's also like not entirely linear, right? Because you have the actual like free time segments that are going to be different for each person.
True.
Yes, but those literally have zero impact on the game. It's funny, they have zero impact on the game, but they 100% have impact on how the game affects you. And I think that's actually one of the coolest things ever. It's really weird. Like, I don't know very many other games where um, the relationships you build in the game don't impact the story as it's told, but it impacts how you feel about the story quite directly because you're being told different pieces of background to build different relationships. It's really weird. I can't think of any other game like that.
Yeah, that gameplay mechanic is really cool, but also kind of bizarre when you start to think about it.
Well, it's essentially like throwing in dating sim stuff where it doesn't need to be, but like it's hard to argue. Like I would 100% say there's no universe it couldn't be without that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you really need to make connections to those characters for the game to even work at all. So getting to spend time with the characters, especially in a non like stressful way, because like
With everything dying,
time, it's like there's like death and it's all tension and everything. I think is actually really important for that game.
Well, it's also nice because it builds your investment on the characters you care about the most without just forcing the investment into characters you don't necessarily care about. Like you're literally going to care more about the game because you're making those choices. It's kind of crazy.
Shout out to that time I tried to hang out with Sayaka and was like, "Oh wow, you're great," and then yeah, here we are.
Here we are. All right.
Here as friendship events are. And if you finish them.
Yeah. What's up?
Are you drinking tonight?
I have been, but I am not right now. Because I wanted to make sure we get through this first start stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna crack open my first one, but you gotta look at this label.
Oh boy, one sec. I got it. Oh, it's so clean. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so good.
Actually, you'll like the art too, Wizard.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
That's a really good art.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I think this is a triple IPA. Yeah. Cyclone, get your ears ready.
His favorite part. Oh no, we didn't hear it. It's only on your stream.
Rip.
No, rip. Poor Cyclone. Bamboozled again.
I'm sorry.
Scammed.
You were scammed by Joe Biden.
Don't blame me on that one.
Set the record straight. No, this is your stream. This is your mistake.
I can just open another water for now. Just make up for it. But no. All right, are you guys ready to get into the top 10 then?
Let's get into the top 10.
All right, who wants to start?
Wait, do we have to do some like sort of dramatic announcement like this is number 10?
This is number 10.
Number 10, 10, 10.
All right, I'm going to go for mine because I know at least you're going to recognize it, Wizard.
Yeah.
My number 10 is actually Stories Untold.
Okay.
I played this game. It was one of the mystery ones from Mystery Monday. I played it for 15 minutes and said, damn, I really want to play this game. I then proceeded to play this game, get to the end and say, wow, that's a really good game. And I genuinely think if horror, again, horror, I personally don't find it way too horror heavy, but like if horror isn't too much for you, this game is worth experiencing and is so cool to me. Is one of the coolest games I think I've ever played, and I'm so happy with it this year.
That's been on my like on my to play pile for a while now. Like I own it and just haven't gotten around to it, but I'm definitely it's definitely gone way up now that you've.
That's on my top 10.
Yeah,
that's actually super cool to me.
I didn't hear because I left before you played it.
Yeah, exactly.
I play it myself.
Yeah.
So
I think it's so good. I played through it and it's not that long of a game. It's like a pretty short game, but if you have it, man, I recommend it. It was really, really good. This was actually originally in my honorable mention, and then literally today I was looking at it, I'm like, no, this really should be in my top 10. So I swapped what was my top 10 for this. So
all right,
yeah,
nice.
All right.
Right.
I'll go next. Mine was 999.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Did you finish 999?
I did. Yeah, I completely finished it.
Nice.
It was solid. I liked it. Great for me. A great visual novel. Had all the stuff I wanted. Like actual gameplay elements. Love a good escape room. So yeah.
Okay, cool,
Question:
cool.
now that I know you finished this, uh, has anyone told you about that? There's that like final bit with where you have to do the Sudoku puzzle.
Oh, we
Uh,
didn't talk about that, yeah.
Yeah, so we're just going on a 999 tangent here because I think this is really cool. So originally, this game was for the DS, which had 2 screens.
Oh.
And so during that section, uh, you had to like flip your DS upside down to solve that Sudoku puzzle. As
Oh,
a
that's cool.
Yeah.
be- because like originally, the top screen was like uh Akane, like what Akane saw from the past, and the bottom screen
Uh-huh.
was Junpei's monologue. And so, like flipping that was supposed to like represent like, oh yeah, it was supposed to like clue you into that and everything, and it was a really cool moment. Um,
Oh, that's really cool.
It's
and they obviously can't do
it,
that.
it,
That's
it sucks that we lost that, but like I do think it's always cool to hear about that. Just like have those moments. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, one screen was Junpei.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So I get that. I think that that for your number 10 pick is a great pick.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll do mine now.
Yep.
That's
No, we're gonna
yep.
do. No, we have to do cyclones now. Cyclone with your number 10.
Cyclone has not prepared his homework for this. I was not aware there was homework.
Uh, so I'll preface this with saying, normally I would not put a like I like this is a roguelike game. Surprise! I guess
Okay.
you can have you can probably guess what this is based on that. I don't normally put roguelike games on my top like games of the year list because typically like even though I play them a lot and really like them,
I think I know
in
what
order
it is.
for a game to make my top game of the year list, it needs to have some kind of lasting impact on me. So, but I played this one so much and thought it was really unique and clever,
Mhm.
Okay.
and just kept coming back to it. Yes, yeah, what up?
It's played up.
Oh yes, it's definitely played out.
Okay. That was the one that I wasn't sure what was gonna. I was like, it's not Hades. You didn't like Hades that much. What other
No, it's not
roguelike
Hades,
have
yeah.
you played?
Yeah.
Also, I played Hades I think 2 years ago.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I guess that is an old game now. It doesn't feel that old.
I played
I
Hades
know.
for the first time this year.
Oh, okay.
It might-
You also
it might be
disappeared.
on your list.
It might be.
Oh, I disappeared. Hello.
Yes, you are now
Oh,
just a picture of the city. Oh, now you're back. City
He's
Sneak
back?
is
Yeah.
back.
Weird.
He's returned.
For
his
what was,
walkabout.
what was the thing? Yeah, so it's on my number 10. I played it a lot. I liked it a lot. But
It's
it,
solid.
like obviously like in it like 10 years from now, I'm not gonna remember like yeah, played up. What a game.
It's I feel like because it's also my specific Friday nights like with friends like that kind of thing. I get where you're coming from though. It's a very memorable like for me it's memorable playing it with friends and just having a good fun time. I get you.
It's also like a roguelike. Like a lot of roguelikes you can't play with other people. It's a really good multiplayer roguelike.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any other roguelike that plays well with others that isn't like just hack and slash kind of move dungeon crawly forward. Like
I mean, there was the space.
Space Lines from the Far Out. Yeah, I guess you're
that
technically
one.
correct. Yeah.
But it was.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
Without
Cyclone's only
thinking of-
played 2 games this year. That's why his list is non-existent.
These aren't necessarily games that came out in 2022. To be
They're
fair,
just games that we played this year.
yeah, just games that you played for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
This or at least finished for the first time this year.
Yeah,
Or-
sorry if that wasn't clear. That's what we're doing because Stories Untold came out like years ago.
Yeah, that's an
I
old
just
game.
assumed that's what we were doing, or else my list would have been.
I don't think I
very
have a
different.
list then. Makes it easier and
I
funnier. That's
really
fair.
do have a list.
Jordan would have had the most list, as we discussed earlier.
That's weird. Yeah, when did 999? I played 999 in high school. Yeah, it's December 2009.
Yeah, Stories Untold came out in 2017. So
And
yeah.
make my list easier, funnier, fair point. Well made.
The other nice thing is like, for example, because of that too, like Stories Untold is $2 because there's the Steam sale going on right now. Like, it's great because it's an old game. It's easy for me to not only be like, I really like this game. I think a lot of people would enjoy it. Turns out it's $2.
$2.
Hard to argue with that.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
things like that that I love, of like, especially playing older games that you're not necessarily thinking about anymore because it's not like in the spotlight.
Mhm.
So, speaking of that, I would love to roll up into number 9. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
Yep. All
So-
right, we did the dramatic number 9 now. Wait, why is
Number
my-
9. No.
Number 9. Did my
Uh,
what's going on?
So
Okay.
I accidentally spoiled it a little bit because I tabbed forward instead of backwards. Mine's actually Monster Prom.
Okay.
Okay.
This
I
is another one I didn't see you play, but
I didn't play it that much on stream. I actually played it with friends. This is one of the weirdest things. It's because it was a multiplayer visual novel. It worked really well. I hung out with Cameron and his sister. You guys will know that. Nobody else will. But well, I guess
Yes.
technically you guys know Cameron, who when he's been on the stream a couple of times, and we just like played all night playing this game, having fun, like working together, going for different dates, having fun to see if any of us could win because this game is actually really brutal at the start because you have no clue what you're doing, and it's a silly, fun, like not take itself dating sim kind of game, and it was so funny. It was just an absolute blast of a time, and at the same time, there's a lot of character development and fun stuff. Like, it's actually still a straight up good visual novel. It's a strong visual novel, and like that to me is crazy. And it's like playable in an hour. Like, you can play one playthrough in an hour, and it's got
that's
replayability,
pretty
which
good.
yeah, you don't see it much other places. Like, I'm not aware of any visual novel that you can play multiple times and be that different. I mean, like, arguably 999 because it's got all the different. But once you beat that, like, I would say it's not
I
the
actually
same.
have one coming up on my list. Stay tuned.
Oh boy.
Stay tuned.
But yeah, I was
Stick around, folks.
pretty impressed with Monster Prom. It's my number 9. It plays so well with friends, especially if you're not taking yourselves too seriously, which the game itself doesn't. And this is another one that's super old because they're actually releasing their 3rd game of this. So clearly it did well. So I'm happy to see that.
Okay, real quick. This is very tangential, but talking about 999 and Monster Girls has it reminded me of a great story. Scott, have we told you about the zero time dilemma voice actors?
Oh my
before?
No.
I'm not sure if Cyclones heard this either. So one day we looked up the voice actors for
Mhm.
Zero Time Dilemma because one of the voice actors is Matt Mercer, who
Okay.
is a very common voice actor. He does a lot of stuff.
Matt Mercer
but-
voiced a lot of people's childhood. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But we hadn't heard of all the other people, so we're like, I wonder what they were in. We looked it up, and all of them were only in one other thing, and
Oh,
it was the
no.
same thing along with Matt Mercer, and it was Monster High, the video game, which I think Monster High is like some kind of line of like.
It's a television show from like Cartoon Network or something. It's like a generic one.
No,
I thought
isn't
it
it
was-
a doll? It's a
I think it
doll.
was a doll line, yeah, for like.
Oh, was it a doll
young
line?
Teenage girls.
Oh yeah, you're 100% correct. And it was released in 2010. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
So-
monster Barbie.
They also had quite a few shows too because of it. Because that's
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
toys were always released with shows back then.
I mean, that's the
I
marketing
mean,
for the dolls.
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Matt Mercer came onto this project and was like, "Hey guys, I know we're all in this like teenage,
That's
like this young teenage girls video game, but I have another project I think you all be really good on." And took him to a 999 death game.
Oh my god,
You know,
that's kind of incredible. I kind of love it.
It's so good. Have you not heard this story either?
I don't remember it. I think we talked about it because I ended up from this information like going on a spin-off tangent of like looking at the video games and then seeing the speedruns of the video games and realizing actually it doesn't look that bad to be a video game thing. But yeah, it's oh my god, that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, it's very funny.
That's really good. You'll love to see it.
Okay,
Love to see it.
sorry. That was a
No, you're
tangent,
fine. You're
but
fine.
Um,
We have to pull up
my
time.
my number 9 is Grounded.
Oh, I haven't got a chance to try it out yet.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's pretty fun. For the same thing, there was a until my brother's what is it, the Xbox One, like the Pro Edition,
yeah.
like couldn't quite run anymore. We were playing it consistently, like every night for like a good two or 3 weeks, in between stuff. So it's pretty solid. I mean, there's not a lot of depth to it. It's a standard survival collection, go around, try to figure out what's going on with you type Minecrafty game, but good fun with some other people.
Definitely get you. And how long ago did you play it? So like, did you play the full release? Because I think when you were originally playing it, wasn't
Yeah.
even fully released yet.
No, I was playing the full release.
Okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right. Oh, I see the little tongue going crazy on your snake underneath your.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that.
Snake Richard's so excited for this next one. He
Yeah,
just
trying to
can't
taste it
go.
out. Taste out what that number nine's gonna be.
Uh,
Yum number nine.
My number 9. So this is my number 9 is Final Fantasy 14.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay. I was not sure whether or not we were gonna see an MMO on this list at all.
Surprise. To be fair, I didn't really play it like an MMO. I I've not finished the entire thing yet because it's like several 100-hour JRPGs stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have finished with the base game and 3 expansions though, so I felt
Oh,
like
wow.
putting it on this
Wow.
list was
It was totally fair.
Yeah, there's only one left. That's the one that actually came out this year, but
Oh,
Here
the
we are.
irony.
Here we are.
but yeah, no, I was really blown away with like the combat is fun and interesting. It's like way better than like if you're just playing it as a single player JRPG, it's way better than like turn-based JRPG combat at the very least.
That's fair.
The story, the base game story is terrible, but like as you go through the expansions, like I was very impressed by the story, and it's yeah, it's just very good and very fun, and it keeps you engaged for like I'm still excited to keep playing, even though I've already played like 100+ hours of it. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a very good fit. Like I definitely get where you're coming from. I was kind of thinking for MMOs it's a little weird because of the like games as a service versus like a full up game, but you make a good argument for especially Final Fantasy 14 being so like solid and done. A lot of that content is pretty much like has nothing to do with the service part of that game. It's pretty
Yeah.
much just JRPG that happens to be in an MMO.
Yep. And you can play it like you can just not do endgame and you can be happy. And that the base game and the free game, or the base game and the free you can play this game for free. This is the one that I was saying.
Oh,
is,
asterisk. Yeah.
if it's free, you can play the Final Fantasy 14 and its award-winning first expansion, Heavensward, completely free, and that's like literally 100 hours of gameplay right there.
Yeah,
It's-
that's a
it's
lot of
Yeah,
gameplay.
that's fair. Yeah. That coffee pasta will never get old.
It's so good. Did you know that the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV has a free trial? It includes the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 with no restrictions on playtime. Sign up and enjoy Eorzea today.
I see.
Hashtag not sponsored.
I wish. Like
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I never fully got into Final Fantasy 14, but man, I have to have love and respect for how much they've worked on that game in general, and that amount of free is huge. It's always good getting more
huge.
people into gaming, especially MMOs, where it's a wild genre to play and experience. So, all right, that's man. I feel like we're starting pretty strong.
It's
Maybe
only
I'm
gonna
crazy.
go up from here.
Yeah, right.
Because we're at 8.
Hey.
So this is actually my freebie one. This is a completely free game. I recommended it to both of you, and I don't know if either of you played it. And to be fair, I would understand if this seems a little silly and like probably overrated for some people, but I went ahead and picked The Looker.
Okay.
It was so good. It
I
just
came at
Oh,
the
I remember
very
you
end of this
playing
game.
this.
I didn't know anything about this. I came in there with and then the last like 15 minutes maybe of you playing this game and saw like the ending and that's it.
it was so funny. I remember just playing through the game and just laughing the
Mhm.
entire time because it's in its own right just a good game, but also kept being more and more ridiculous and making fun of the witness, which, you know, I didn't exactly. I liked The Witness, but I had my gripes about it, and
Yes.
the Looker definitely understood a lot of that. But like you can see how unseriously it takes itself of like saying the winner of nothing, the game isn't out yet,
Yeah.
or like all that stuff. It's such a good parody. Uh-oh. Well, we're gonna pause that, and now it's on the somebody else's review. But it was so good. It's I was just laughing the entire time. It's free.
Yeah.
It's an absolute riot, and it's not that long of a game. It feels like I didn't waste a second of my time enjoying that game. And it's actually got some pretty great puzzles, and like for making fun of The Witness, it still doesn't do a bad job about like giving you good, enjoyable puzzles like that are
Right.
actually kind of like different than what I'm used to getting in other games.
The game's like free too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100% free.
Yeah.
Neat.
Would you say you should play The Witness before playing The Looker? Probably. But I don't think it's gonna hurt. Like some stuff is gonna feel weird. Like it's kind of like listening to a parody song without listening to the
jokes
original
won't
song.
land.
The
Yeah,
jokes are
the
gonna be a
jo-
little bit harder to land. I feel like some of them still land, and I think that's actually part of the best part. Like they're
I
just
mean,
kind of funny.
yeah, no, what I remember from your playthrough is it had a lot of just like generic like throw shade at puzzle games type
Yeah.
stuff. But all in good faith, right?
Yeah.
Like it was absolutely like a parody and a satire on puzzle games as a whole.
It was in
Um,
like it's weird. I feel like it's more true to what a parody is supposed to be, which is like
Yeah.
making fun of something you love because it's fun. And because it is kind of ridiculous on its face to a degree. It's just like Weird Al's approach to the music of like his music is ridiculous, but it's never meant to be mean-hearted.
I know. His whole premise is like, but what if Polka?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is my but what if polka for The Witness, you know? And I'm
I
down.
love it.
This is
Okay.
my what if polka for The Witness.
Yeah, it's great.
So
Back a
my
box
next
vote.
two games fall in the same kind of vein of category. This
Oh,
game
boy.
ended up at 8 because it didn't quite hit the way that 7 does. So my 8 is Firewatch. Absolutely
boy.
phenomenal game. Walking type sim. Why can't I think of the word? Linear, just adventure like game. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like-
Overwatch, but on fire.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
So-
exactly the same thing as Overwatch. I promise everybody who plays Overwatch will enjoy this game too.
Yes, absolutely. Everyone should play Firewatch.
Oh, it's good.
It's phenomenal. And I enjoyed the experience. I don't know. It was so peaceful at times too. I'm like, what if I just went to a Firewatch for one summer? That sounds fun and
Sounds like
crazy.
a nice time.
Yes, but yeah, that's my 8.
That game genuinely made me consider dropping everything else and just going into working at national parks. Like unironically, that game genuinely had me thinking about life and
Oh,
being
yeah.
like, "Is this what I want to do?" Because that seems really good. Like,
Yeah.
do I want to be a park ranger? Like, I genuinely had to go through all of those thoughts, and it's still a thing that I like consider from time to time because of it. It just really shows off so much cool stuff of nature and parks and all that cool stuff.
Yeah, no, and just I don't know, gorgeous game. Like the story is really good. It's like a great mystery. It's captivating. I don't know. It's a good time.
Yeah.
You should definitely check it out.
Now you're really wishing you would have already had Firewatch, huh?
I had checked it out. I've been wanting to play that game literally since it came out and just haven't gotten around to it.
I get you.
because Wizard Brain, Gober.
That is
Ringo
entirely fair. That one's also not a super long game either, if I'm not mistaken. It's like only 2 to 4
only 2
hours.
hours.
No. Yeah.
So I do think that's the one nice thing of like, maybe I'm just like actually, I'm realizing a lot of the games I picked are really short. And I'm wondering if that's just because I feel like they value my time a lot. Like it feels like I got like not only good gameplay, but really good value out of it.
I vastly prefer short games, like, because long games tend to only be long because they have a lot of padding in them, right? And I don't want to bother with the padding. Like, if the game's long and good, like Final Fantasy 14, it has some padding in
watching cutscenes.
There's so many cutscenes, but like, yeah, it has a decent amount of substance to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not a lot of like go find me 100 flags on the map of Assassin's Creed 3.
No, I get you.
Not calling out anything specific there, but
but yeah, no, I get where you're coming from.
Just a random game that came to mind, right? Just at the top.
It's a random, yeah. No, I've not even played Assassin's Creed 3. I just know that that's like
that's fair.
The quintessential examples of like why.
Yeah.
Why?
No, I totally get you. That makes sense. That being said, that you're setting up yourself for having, you better have a really, really good 8 now.
Mine 8 is actually not necessarily that good. This is the one that I put on here because I really like the gameplay and the style of game that this is. I really want there to be more of this style of game. And hopefully with how well this genre has been like received lately, we'll get more of that. I'm also kind of cheating because I literally started this 2 days ago and finished it 1 day ago. But you know what? I'm counting it. And that is the Case of the Golden Idol, which I briefly showed off on
that
screen
one.
the other day.
That makes
Oh
sense.
yeah, that's cool.
I was cautious
Yeah,
about that game because I definitely was a little worried looking at it, what it could be. But you seem to have really, really enjoyed it, so I probably gonna have to give it a try at some point.
Yeah, it's my playtime is listed as like 6.8 hours, but I think a lot of that's honestly like AFK time or whatever. I think it was only like a 4-hour game or so.
Okay.
It's so the style of game that it is like a deduction game, I'd say. It plays very similarly to Return of the Obra Dinn, which was also like very, very well received and a very good game. You have to use clues based on what people are said and make inferences based on like who's holding what and who's like what items are where and stuff like that without giving away too much of the game. And it uses it in very clever ways, and it never feels unfair. It always feels like, oh yeah, there's a solution here. I just have to think about it a bit hard. I never got stuck on anything, but I never felt like it was too easy either. And the story it tells is interesting and engaging and full of mystery. I'd also put Outer Wilds in a bit in this category. I don't feel like it's a puzzle game, or it's more of a deduction game as well.
I get you.
But like obviously those are like
I agree with that.
There's stuff there. So yeah, but like I'm not sure if this would normally make a top 10 list. But I did really like it a lot, and I hope to see more of it.
Nice. I'm definitely gonna have to give that a look at some point then. Not a puzzle game, but a puzzling game. I'm kind of with that. Yeah, I like that. We need more puzzling games. All right.
So hopefully we get more.
Hopefully we see more. That's totally fair.
Hopefully we just get another project from the Outer Wilds.
Oh yes, please.
Oh,
Yes,
so
please.
bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Oh.
Yes.
You ready for a hard shift into a different gear for number 7?
We're shifting gears into 7? Woo, 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 woo.
The 7th gear, my favorite gear.
My pick was actually Rhythm Doctor.
Okay.
That looks so fun.
I'm a sucker for rhythm games, but something that pulled me into this was it's actually kind of got a cool little story. the gameplay is just really solid. The music is really really good, and it's done things with the game that I've never seen done with a game before. And that shocked me. I wasn't expecting a rhythm game to be a game that challenged what I have seen done in games before. And so just for that alone, it's hard for me to say that this wouldn't be one of my top games of the year by far. I know it's down in 7th, but like there's a lot of heavy hitters here, and to be honest, the space between 5, 6, 7, and 8 are like all like very very tightly clustered. I feel like actually I would say anything 5th and below is very tightly clustered. Like there were a lot of really good games this year.
I would, but I had a hard time. My 3rd through 7th, I think, maybe my 3rd through 6 are all like really interchangeable, and I could swap any of they like they're basically all tied for 3rd. Honestly.
Yeah, I could very comfortably call Rhythm Doctor, probably up. I'd probably be comfortable going all the way up to 5th. My 5th through 10th are probably very mixable.
I remember watching you play this a little bit, and you were like really, really into it.
Yeah.
I felt like you stopped playing it after like a relatively short amount of time, but maybe I just totally missed it. So I don't know.
No, I did. Part of me is there's not a lot in the game. It's a short, quick game. I can't really explain what it does without spoiling what it does. Is part of the problem.
Sure.
And part of it is you need to be playing this game on a PC, and you need to just let it do what it does. It's made by the same people who made Rhythm Heaven, if you didn't know. So like it's made by people who have big history of making good rhythm games. So I think it does enough to like mix up the gameplay stuff, not just like keep a new. I don't think you need a new way of playing the game for it to be new and unique per. And then it does also have like custom levels and stuff, but I'll be honest, I never really cared about that. I find it good for the core gameplay, and I think part of it was I wanted to savor as much of it as I could, and like the moments that they give you, it's like it's weird because I don't want to spoil the game, and it feels really weird saying that about a rhythm-based game, and I think that's part of what makes it so cool to me. Is like there are just things in it that can be spoiled that are actually these enjoyable little bite-sized moments that you don't really get other places, other rhythm games having that. And it's like getting it wrapped up in that kind of style of game is cool to me. It's not like, oh my god, this is the best game ever. This is why it's not like there's a reason it's not my top 4, for example. But it's just really good. It made me very, very happy. And part of it's my biggest complaint is I want more, but I'm not sure they could have done more and kept up at the pace that they were making it really what makes it special. So I can't even be upset about that. I feel like that's the best way to encapsulate that entire thing. This is a good one. I'm only getting more, with one exception. I feel like I'm only going to get more and more passionate as we keep going up these games.
Also, Cyclones reminded me of another thing we should do at some point during the list that I won't spoil, but we'll do that after number 6. Stay tuned.
Sounds perfect.
Stay tuned.
Oh boy.
So, once again, in the same vein, kind of the linear stories, walking sim, you kind of play through it and let it watch through you.
Wait.
And this one
is it? I have a guess. You keep going.
Go ahead. You can guess.
I'm pretty confident.
Finch?
Is it What Remains of Edith Finch?
No, I didn't play that this year.
Oh, okay.
I realized that I played that this year, and
ago.
I just forgot about that I played it this year, and now I feel really bad.
Put it in your.
Looks like he's added on a 7th honorable mention.
Yeah, basically.
I will say I did play it this year. I realized I played it like early this year. It did not make my list though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, no. But this one, the message just hit a whole lot harder for me, and it was The Artful Escape.
I wanted to play that so bad, but it's off the Game Pass now, and I'm so sad.
It's so good, and as an artistic person myself and like whatnot, Um, the the journey you go through as the main character just hit so hard and was like so impactful for me as an artist. And like it's he's a musician, but still in the same vein. Like the stuff people like creatives go through and like the fight for it, because at the beginning of the game, I won't go into too much in case you want to play through it, but you're an artist who is trying to figure out who they want to be as a musician. They have this legacy from someone who was a folk artist, but they don't necessarily want to be a folk artist. But they have all the pressure from the outside world, from their small town, to continue on the legacy of their family member who is very well known for this one genre. And just it's a story about the creative journey, the artistic person finding your true artistic self and what you want to be. And Firewatch was a phenomenal game, but at the end of the day, the Artful Escape just hit so much harder for me. And yeah, it was really good. I highly recommend it.
Question: have you played the Beginner's Guide, Scott?
That was going to say the exact same thing. I was literally like, Scott, you need to play the beginner's guide.
No, I haven't, but it sounds like I should.
I think
you're describing exactly how I felt.
Yeah, I think anyone who is a creator of any sort should play the Beginner's Guide.
Okay. I will say also with an asterisk to that, because of that, there's actually certain gameplay or playthroughs of Beginner's Guide. Like Jacksepticeye is actually probably one of my favorite ways of also getting to enjoy that game, because the added conversation that another creator brings to that. Now that you might be able to get the same thing from playing it yourself and then talking to somebody with it, but I would say either play it and watch that, or like something related to that too, because in my opinion, that conversation that sparks from that too is so good and so valuable, and everything that goes into that, it felt like a good, because I maybe for me too, that playthrough helped because it was really helpful to have something that kind of lets somebody who's better at words than I am talk about the beginner's guide, but also put it in a way that I think is more reachable for people who aren't necessarily as hardcore into any form of artistic or creative endeavors. You definitely should play the beginner's guide. It's in my like top games of all time for that exact reason you just described about the Artful Escape.
Okay.
So that means that for me now, I really, really want to play the Artful Escape.
Yeah, it's really good. Like,
yeah, you should. I'm so happy that you agreed with me, Wizard. Like I literally the entire time he was saying these words is like, you need to see the beginner's guide. You need to see the beginner's guide. I'm gonna have to bring it up right afterwards.
I even thought you would probably say the same thing too.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
How are you gonna follow that one up, Wizard?
Oh, I'm not.
That was just 7.
My number 7 is the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Which we're taking a hard turn here.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
So I should preface this with I played the first game a few years ago and only played 2 and 3 this year. But I was really, really impressed. Like, I've always heard Phoenix Wright it's a good game, and you should play it. And I played Ghost Trick: Phantom Detective, which was the director of Phoenix Wright made that immediately after making the third game in the trilogy, and that's one of my top 10 games of all time. Wizard knows the difference between a ladder and a step ladder, don't you? No comment. But yeah, I was actually very, very surprised about like how good the game actually is, especially for how old it is too. And I thought the mysteries were very well constructed. It uses it uses its cast of characters really well. It brings back characters often and uses them in fun ways. And the way it ties up everything at the end, like, and kind of connects the whole past 3 games together and like puts a bow on it is like really like I was blown away by how well it was done. So yeah,
I'm excited because that game's definitely 100% on my list of games that I want to complete that games I started that I still need to complete that I want to do in 2023.
Yeah. Did you just get through the first game?
I didn't even beat the first
Or
game.
Not even.
I think 2/3 through the first game. Weirdly enough, it's in a weird spot because I'm torn between wanting to finish that first or wanting to finish Murder by Numbers first, because they kind of both feel like they fit in the same general box. Which maybe that's another thing to say is if you enjoyed Phoenix Wright, I would recommend Murder by Numbers.
Yeah.
But I can't say way too much because I haven't finished either of them.
I haven't finished either of them. I think you should finish the first Phoenix Wright game because I think
I do need to finish
to
it. I
get
want
the
to.
full experience of that game, you need to play the Last Trial. I think the Last Trial really brings that game together.
That's fair. I've been meaning to. It's one of those things where stuff gets away super easily from you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know how that. I literally played the first game like 2 or 3 years ago and only finished it this year. So like, yeah, big same.
Yeah.
Big same.
All right. We ready to move on to the slippery number 6?
I guess we're ready to move on to number 6.
Oh boy.
We are going to move on to number 6.
This one is. I don't know if either of you saw me play this game, but if you were there for it, I literally, the day after I played this game, immediately recommended it to somebody else.
Okay.
It is not Rhythm Doctor again. It is 198X.
Oh, I think I saw you play a bit of this. I think I saw you play like the start of this.
It's hard to tell because this game is very weird.
Yeah, the game was bizarre. I watched like the first 15 minutes.
This game is essentially.
I saw you play some of this.
Yeah, it's essentially just a love letter to the arcades of the 1980s. And you can feel the passion and the love and the care for the impact that the arcades of the 80s had on this person. Or if they somehow didn't, then man, I have no clue how they did such a good job. But it genuinely feels like a true love letter, and like it's full of care and passion, and like it's something that had an impact on their life. And I thought that was really cool. Like I don't feel like I get a lot of those kinds of games where you can feel how important the things are to the person who's making it. And this is not like a super long game. I think it's like a 4-hour-ish long game. Some of the games are that would actually be one of my bigger complaints of this is some of the games are not as good, which, you know, arcade games of the 80s, that makes about sense. They tend to do certain things to try and make it a little bit. They definitely tone down like the oh my god, this game is way too difficult of the true arcades to make it actually like playable and enjoyable. I thought it was really good. It's fun seeing passion and things people care about, you know? And so for me, that was really, really good. Plus, it's a cute little story that kind of shines a light on the impact video games can have on people, especially during the OG era where video gaming was starting to really grow into what it was with the arcade age. So that's my number 6 pick, 1986 or 1980X.
1980X.
Can't believe we spoiled the whole game. Now we know what year it takes place in. Come on.
What decade? He didn't give a specific year.
He said 1986.
I did technically accidentally say
1980X.
No. At first I said 1986, which was actually because it was 6th place. So my brain was like, oh, that must be in 1986.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have as much as a passionate speech for my number 6, but it was a good game and it hit at the right time, and I played it over a weekend, and it was like, for me as a streamer, it was nice to be able to experience like a game that I could play off stream and just have that again, because I don't know, Joe Vine, you might relate to this more, but like
having something to yourself
need and the pressure to be like, oh, I need to stream this for content and like
Yeah.
giving yourself a game to go play. So it's a simple action adventure game. Um, Another great thing I loved about it is I found it on the Game Pass during I don't remember which one I think it fits both, but it's like made and developed by like a female team. It's a strong female lead. Just some
I
great
think I know
diversity
this
in
one.
gaming that I love to see. The game is the Gunk. It's
What a name. The Gunk.
what a name. But it was it's just a fun action adventure game. I mean, you're going through, your spaceship breaks down, you land on a strange planet, you solve some problems, you do some simple puzzle type stuff, you run around. It's a great time. And yeah, it was a
Oh.
nice little game for myself to play off stream and just enjoy for me, which is kind of why it ended up at 6th there.
Yeah, it's from the SteamWorld devs. I didn't know that. That's
Oh,
pretty
really?
cool. Yeah. I had
Wow,
no
okay.
clue. I didn't know they
Yeah.
made another game.
Same.
Yeah, like
it
I
looks
said,
really
it
good.
popped up. I don't remember which exactly one of them because hashtag not sponsored, but man, if you're looking to sponsor a group of streamers, Xbox,
Yeah,
Microsoft, and
please.
you happen to be watching, one of the things I loved is, and it might be a little corporate-y, but they did go out of their way to promote like black game designers, Asian Americans. Like I remember seeing that promptly featured on the feed, which I think is cool. I think it's great to give those creators, a boost that we don't
Yeah.
always see. So
Oh
You
god,
know.
Snake, what are you doing?
Oh, I thought you were doing that on purpose. Your snake has
that's not-
grown multiple times. Let me see if
I
this is
moved him over because he was like kind of off to the side, but okay, there he goes.
all right, but yeah, that's
Ooh,
my
and
sixth,
it's still
the
on
Gunk.
Game Pass. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
still on Game Pass.
just
I mean, like I
install
said,
that
it's
right now.
great.
I actually am unironically just installing it right now because I looked at it and it looks super cute. I was actually expecting a different game. In my brain, I was like, oh, I know exactly what game you're gonna play. Completely ignoring the fact that you said, oh no, you didn't play it on stream. And I'm like, well, that clearly
What game
can't be
was it
Raj
going to
then
be?
or Raji.
I played Raji last year too.
That was really last year. Oh my god.
Yes, I literally sent you all the games I played this year.
Yes, but I didn't look through all of them.
This was only 40 long.
Was it actually only for? Okay, I didn't assume it
You
was
said that at
only
the
going to be
start.
40 long. To be super clear.
It's 38 on
Ooh.
this plus 2 I played not on Xbox.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. That's entirely fair. That's crazy. God, the problem is the past 3 years are all like one gigantic mega year. Like, if we're
That's
being honest,
why- Look, that's why I had to go out of my way. I was like, oh, maybe Xbox will have like an year review thing.
they should.
Game
Game Pass, please. Game Pass review should
but
exist.
honestly, I mean, you can throw up mine, but the true achievement site I found that I went to, you just link your Microsoft account, and it like shows everything for you.
Yeah, but,
and
like,
it's pretty fantastic.
Microsoft should have
There's
this
some-
exactly like how Steam had it.
That's fair. I mean,
Okay.
PlayStation even had one, and who else had one?
This actually is essentially, if you look at it, it's basically exactly what Steam did this year. It's got
Yeah.
like the actual mapping of the achievements you got per month, the different games you played. Like I genuinely think,
Yeah, I guess in February I just don't play video games.
or you don't, or you play ones that don't have achievements, because like not even all the games
Or
on Game
not on
Pass have
Xbox.
achievements, or not on Xbox. That's true.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But
Okay, but also shout out to the
Hey,
Xbox app for having a recently played games list that goes back to literally decades. I said this like off stream, but Snake's just gone now.
bamboozled again.
Where do we go?
Bamboozled
Oh god, why
again.
is he tiny?
He's so small, and now he's giant.
I have no
You know,
idea
you're
what's
not
going
supposed to eat the things that say "eat me" and drink the potions that say "drink me," right?
on. It's so tasty.
Or if you want to have
Yeah,
a good
so-
time.
I checked my like games you recently played and scrolled back, and it literally had the time I played Viva Pinata when I was in like 5th or 6th grade.
which is
on the
insane.
Xbox 360. Which is,
Yes,
insane.
I recently played that over a decade ago.
Yeah, it's like literally every game I ever played on Xbox was on there.
Yeah.
So that's neat. Okay, is there anything else you wanted to say about the gunk?
No, that's all. That's all I have for about the gunk. Go play,
like
people.
the
It's a great game.
It's a good name.
It has
for
a
game.
great name.
Yeah, the name is great. All right. What are we going to for your snaky 6th place?
My number 6 is speaking of is that potion game on your honorable mentions. You have to wait till the honorable mentions section.
Yeah, come on, gotta wait for that.
Which is after number 3.
Indeed.
Yeah.
My number 6 is Pokemon Legends: Arceus.
Oh, I never got around to playing that.
I
You're like
really,
a bad gamer.
I can lend it to you if you want to. I was really impressed. Like, Pokemon, like I love Pokemon, right? Like I have all of. Whoa, are you surprised?
I think that was about the potion thing. He thought you were gonna say the potion game for your 6th place, but I don't know.
I don't know. I never played the potion game. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah, I mean, I love Pokemon. I've been playing since literally Gen 1. But like this took the formula and spiced it up just enough, and in a way that, because I'm more of a like a collector explorer type than like a battling type, and it really leaned into that for this one, and just made a world that was fun to explore and move around in. Like the pseudo open world worked really well, way better than in the actual mainline release this year, hilariously. And like I played it like longer than I probably would have otherwise, just because I was having fun exploring and doing some Pokemon stuff.
Doing the Pokemon.
That's more than fair. That's genuinely the one I was thinking when because I still owe a 8-hour Pokemon stream. That was the one I wanted to do the most. I'm probably not going to end up going with it because I don't own a copy. Actually, I might check. My brother might. That was the one I was most curious about possibly playing.
Fine, I'll just go to Seattle and lend you my copy. Legends Arceus is the best game since Sword and Shield. I agree. And that's why Scarlet and Violet are not on my list.
Oof. But also,
they're good games, but they're just not
that exceptional.
Like, it's not a bad game. It's just like the worst Pokemon game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Let's Go's turned from a mediocre game to a solid. I still don't know what the purpose of Let's Go was, but Pokemon's weird.
It was a remake of Gen 1 for a younger audience.
Yeah, Pokemon's a weird concept, man. The
tangential Pokemon news. The Ash Ketchum arc is finally over. The kid gets to grow up now, I guess.
Okay, I have like a theory that I actually think holds the best weight. The whole reason he doesn't age is because it's told from his point of view. He's an whatever the term for that narrator that's not trustworthy, an untrustworthy narrator, I guess.
An unreliable narrator.
He's an unreliable narrator. That's why all of his friends magically age when they disappear and come back, but he doesn't. It's because he's an unreliable narrator. He literally.
I'm also pretty sure, like if you counted up every day that has changed in that anime, it would be over 365 days.
Yeah.
Like.
No, yeah, I believe Game Theory did a theory on how old Ash actually is.
I actually haven't watched that. I just, for me, I was like looking at it. And apparently, he literally, I don't know this firsthand. I was told, like, Misty and Brock literally age up. You can see them also get older, but he doesn't. And so for me, I'm like, the easiest explanation, and although it's probably not the most, like, people aren't going to love it, because it's not like super tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. I think he's just an unreliable narrator who still sees himself as being that original kid who left the city forever ago. He's still learning and growing just as much as he was back then. And so in his mind, that's him, even though he's not.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
That's fair.
All right. I will also say we're past 6th. Before we get into top 5, do you guys want to get up, stretch, do a little break before we hop into that? Because it's been like an hour.
Yes, Absolutely.
Oh, wait,
All right.
should I tease what the thing that I think we should do when we get back before we do our fives?
Absolutely.
No.
Wait.
No.
Oh,
If you want to know what we're doing, come back after the break.
also
Well,
true.
you all might need some time to think about it.
Tease it. Tease
Okay.
it so I get my time to think about it.
All right, I think we should do games that you're looking forward to playing next year.
Oh man.
Okay,
The
well-
problem is I don't think that far in the future usually.
I mean,
Well,
it's
okay.
literally 2 hours from now from you. So, the future is now, old man.
Oh no.
Time to get up, stretch, and think about the future.
Future.
Future, no.
All right. See you back in a few. And now we're back in the GamePassPals
Okay.
stuff. I actually have quite a bit of a list. None of these are, as far as I'm aware. Actually, no. I know as a fact, none of these are like new releases even for me. These are just ones that I've had in my pre-list. So, but you said for you, Suskimo, it's all
It's the future.
new stuff.
I'm only looking forward.
There's probably a handful that's on yours that I genuinely am super looking forward to and would love to play.
All right. I was just reminded Kerbal Space Program 2 is coming out sometime in the future. Hope it
Oh,
comes
wow.
out this year. Looking forward to playing it. The new Star Wars Jedi Survivor, sick. I want to play that. Not a full game, but a DLC, the Cyberpunk 2077 DLC. Cyberpunk kind of ends up on my honorable mentions because I got back into playing it heavily.
And it
for a
runs
while
less
there.
terrible now.
I never thought it ran horrible to begin with, and
That's because you're not playing on PC.
yeah, I'm playing on an Xbox Series X, so, but like, I'm looking forward to that DLC. If you haven't gone back into Cyberpunk, recheck it out. Also, check out the anime. It was fabulous, really good overall. What else did I see? Oh, the new Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I'm going to be playing that.
That comes out on my birthday.
Nice.
Hey, I don't know.
Nice birthday present.
One of you two might be interested in this, but Octopath 2?
I'm personally
So-
not.
Yeah, I don't actually like JRPGs that much.
Beautiful. I'm just rolling through the list of what's about to come out. So, Dead Island 2, I don't know. I'm kind of over the zombie games. So
Yeah, but
so
I've been
it-
waiting way
it-
too long for that game.
Is Octopath 2 a game you're looking forward to, or
It's just like on your
no,
brain.
it's just what I'm
No, okay.
throwing out. It's the future. I'm just throwing out the future here.
that's fine? What was the first thing you said?
That the Kerbal
Sorry.
Space Program
Kerbal
Yeah,
Space
that one,
Program
okay,
2.
Yeah.
2. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
That's fair.
I think that's all. I'm just scrolling through stuff that's eventually coming out. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't like JRPGs typically because generally the combat is
Not
bit
great.
boring because it's just you find a good strategy and you just spam the same attack over and over again and you just can grind out of it and it's super boring and like the gameplay just doesn't need to be there. Pokemon at least has the collecting aspect of it. I think for the story gameplay of it, like the battling is relatively uninteresting sometimes. Sometimes it
Get what
gets
you mean,
good
though.
and then that's exciting, but for the most part it's just nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
I definitely get where you're coming from. I think you
Cool.
like Pokemon despite the JRPG elements.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Persona. We were talking about this earlier, actually. Persona is like 1/3 JRPG, 1/3 visual novel, and 1/3 like time management sim. And I like it for the 2/3 that's not the JRPG.
that's
I get it.
fair. That's fair. The other game I'm looking forward to is whatever Bethesda's space game that's coming out. I can't
Starfield?
remember. Is that what it is?
I
wanna
believe
play that.
so.
And Elder Scrolls 6, whatever it is,
That's not coming
I
out
hope
this
it
year.
comes out this year. I know it's not, but I'm excited for it.
Let's be real here. It's not coming
I
out
played
this year.
fast and loose with this prompt, okay?
That's fine.
Um,
I sprung it up on you like
that's fair.
less than 10 minutes ago, so you know what?
Um,
The thing that actually bothers me is that you could just say you don't like RPGs instead of just JRPGs, as that implies you like Western RPGs. I do typically like uh, more action-y based role-playing games.
I actually agree with that. I think I like Western RPGs more than JRPGs substantially. I think it's specifically I don't like JRPGs.
I
Uh,
tend to like JRPG stories a lot more, and I tend to be more of a story-focused person, so I'll play the JRPGs in spite of their gameplay. But I like the gameplay of like Western, like action RPGs more.
all right. Do you want to go ahead and go next, Wizard?
Yeah, I can do that. So I started writing this list. So originally, why I came up with this prompt is because uh, Cyclone used the Padaru emote, and
Padaru, Padaru.
fun fact: this is from that's from a what can top the gong.
The
Uh,
gonk.
True.
The
Uh, so that's from a game called Fate Extra, which is a game for the PlayStation Portable. Which the gameplay was literally rock paper scissors. Like I'm not even
Wait,
joking.
really? That's incredible.
But like it was like JRPG-ified rock paper scissors. It was weird and cool, but like not. It wasn't good, but it was cool and at least something different. Uh, it's a really old game though. I never ended up finishing it. But there's a remake that's been in the works that is it's not been officially announced for next year, but I'm thinking it will probably be released next year, and that's what I'm relying on. And it seems they've updated the graphics, they're keeping the story, which is apparently like a very, very good story, and they're updating the gameplay to be not rock paper scissors. And it doesn't look like to be a standard RPG thing. Like it looks to be maybe some kind of Slay the Spire type, like you have a deck and you have energy and you play cards type of thing, but like in a linear story, which
Okay. Yeah.
sounds cool and neat. Yeah, the original release date was July 2010, so the game's old.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. And then I wrote down I'm also really looking forward to the new chapter in Fate Grand Order, which is the mobile game
You and your fate,
for
man.
Fate. I realized I wrote down 3 works in the Fate universe as my first things, then had to find other things to write down. The new chapter is supposed to be like just the one chapter is like the length of the entire original Fate Stay Night visual novel,
Oh my gosh.
which is nuts. So I'm excited for that. And then the third one is they're also remaking one of their really early visual novels called Witch on the Holy Night is releasing, which the fact that we got a English translation is
Astounding.
a miracle. Like it's insane. This is the first visual novel by them that's getting an official release, and it's a simultaneous release. It's crazy. So I'm really excited to play that. It's supposed to be good. And then for other games that aren't Fate related, the Eternal Cylinder I just finally picked up. It's a game that was written by one of my favorite games writers. He did half of the writing on the Talos Principle, and
cool.
I think you played this, the Fabulous Screech, if you remember that, the like hand drawn game about the cat.
Yeah, that was super cute.
Yeah,
I like that
yeah.
one.
Yeah, I really really like his writing, and so this is a game he wrote for I don't remember which company was this that did it.
What is it again?
It's been out for a little while, but I just finally picked it up, and it looks really weird and cool.
The something cylinder? What was it?
The Eternal Cylinder. It's about like some spore-looking creatures, and I think they get run over by a big cylinder that rolls around.
Could you just like?
It's like
walk to
basically
the
my
side?
concept of the game. I have no idea I have no idea what to expect from this game. That's why I'm excited for it.
Oh,
and
this
then
game looks
just
wild.
it looks really weird, right?
Yeah.
And like written by that guy, like I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm in.
You are not wrong. Everything
Yeah,
looks
you
so
show this,
spore-like.
like, it looks like a spore.
Oh wow!
Like someone went into the spore crater and just like smoked something real crazy and just went ham. That's how they
just had a
designed
good
characters for
little
this
That's
game.
wild.
They tried. Okay.
And then just other random things. Excavation of Hobbs Barrow, I really liked the Black Whale series. I saw a few people saying it's really, really good. I'm excited for it to play it. That's the point and click adventure game.
Isn't that one already out?
Yes, that already
Okay,
came.
perfect.
These next ones are already out, and that
You just
I
haven't
want
got a
play
chance
them
to play
next
them
year.
yet. Okay, fair.
Yeah, because that one like just came out. The Lost Campfire, which is recommended to me by Food for Dogs, which is a YouTuber who is an old New Zealand lady who is really into video games, especially like anime style stuff, and she's fantastic. But she's also like a I'm just plugging Food for Dogs now because she's incredible.
Yes.
She's like a literary like major, or like she got her degree in like literary analysis, so she comes at it from like an actual like analyzes these games from that standpoint, and it's really cool and interesting. And her stories is really cool. And then Beacon Pines, which is on the Games Pass, and I keep mentioning over and over again. I've heard really, really good things about, and it's some furry looking game in a storybook style.
Yeah.
And doesn't look very good on the surface.
It looks cute.
From everything I've heard, it's like a game I need to play. So
fair enough.
I keep seeing that game.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Jovan?
So there's, from what I'm looking at, there's only one game that really intrigues me that is actually new, but that's because I haven't like looked super hardcore into what's coming out next year, and that's Atomic Heart.
Oh yeah,
that game looks so up my alley. Like they might as well call it Jovine Alley, because god dang, does that look like a strike for that bowling. It looks really, really good. Other than that, it's mostly catching up on some other stuff that I've wanted to play for a while. Do Not Feed the Monkeys, which I don't know if any of you have seen that, but it's kind of like a it's a very weird game. You're watching people through cameras, and you can buy access to more cameras, and you can sell things that you see on that camera. So like you can take photos and sell them to like newspapers and stuff. But it's like a secret society, and like the more that you invest, the more cameras you have access to. It's like a very, very weird management game. It's kind of like it's kind of like a weird like what's going on kind of game, and it's very observant. And it's all pixel art. I don't know like a good way to describe it because it's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the game looks bizarre.
Yeah, it's a bizarre game. So
it kind of reminds me of the level of weirdness. Kind of reminds me of Hypnospace Outlaw a bit. If you've ever seen that.
Yeah, I get you. It's I don't know why. It's just one of those things where I played like an hour and it's like it feels awkward playing this game, but it's kind of cool that it can do that.
Very unique at the very least.
Yeah, they're coming out with a sequel next year, I think, too. But I'm not sure about that. I know they're making a Do Not Feed the Monkeys too. And like it's supposed to be like you're part of the secret society who gets to view all the cameras, and you're never supposed to interact with them. That's why it's called Do Not Feed the Monkeys. But like you gotta make money and eat food and live, you know? And like you're like wanting to look at more and more stuff. And so it's interesting.
So they are making a Do Not Feed the Monkeys 2099.
Okay, that's funny.
March 9th, 2023.
So there you go. So arguably
4 years old. I never heard of this. Huh. Cool though.
Do Not Feed the Monkeys is not 40 years old. What?
4.
Oh, 4. Okay. Is it really 4? Oh, it doesn't feel that old. Yeah, that seems plausible. Then after that, I have Forgotten Anne, which is one of the anime looking ones that we played. It's kind of like if Studio Ghibli made a like 2D platforming game. It looks beautiful, but it's nothing too crazy. Jazzpunk, which is that weird like trip fest of a game. Yeah, that game's weird. Moonlighter, which you should recognize because you were the one who recommended it.
Moonlighter. Yeah, Moonlighter's great.
Phoenix Wright, which we were talking about, and Murder by Numbers, which we were talking about. If it occurs to be on either the Game Pass or the monthly or any bundle, I would love to do the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, but otherwise I don't really feel a need to play more of it yet. But that is something that I'm like considering. Faust Albtraum is one that I like was kind of really sad we never played on the Halloween, the Spooptober.
What was it?
Faust's Albtraum.
Faust. What?
Alptraum. Alptraum.
ALP.
That's not how you spell Faust.
Apparently, it's just like it's essentially a retelling of a specific book. In
Faust.
I believe so. In essentially a RPG Maker game.
Okay, yeah, this is like a an Ebe looking thing.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. Here, I'll pull up some of the art on stream, but it's definitely clearly RPG Maker. Like the actual gameplay is RPG Maker.
It's like one of the classic, like RPG Maker horror games.
Yeah, but it looks just. I played 15 minutes of this game and thought, why do I really want to play this? I think I just really like horror games that are not like more traditional horror design. And I think that's a thing that's grown on me like substantially is the fact that like I think I want to play a bunch of RPG Maker horror, but the problem is I'm pretty confident that a lot of it's just trash.
Yeah, a lot of it's really good.
Well, so Ebe is a good example of one that I know is good. This one looks pretty solid, and I haven't heard anything about this game, so I don't know if it's good or not. But like it already made me intrigued, and the art is so good. I don't know what it is about this art. It's just the perfect level of off-putting. Like
it is very Uncanny Valley-esque.
Yeah, it's so good. And I think
does look. I was gonna say it does look to be based on Faust.
Okay, there you go. I haven't read Faust, so I don't know much about that. But I will say also, weirdly enough, the game that I've been looking at recently, because Charlie did a so Charlie, if you don't know, the guy who is Moist Critical or Penguin Zero, did a $10,000 speedrun challenge for this game that was kind of not great. It was made in an Unreal Engine. There's a lot of different issues, but the more I dug into the story behind the game, the more intrigued I was in that story. And maybe that's the other thing is some games are kind of bad, but at least if you get kind of like cool stories and things to learn about from it, then it's kind of a cool time. The game's called Amok Running, which the funny thing is they say, oh yeah, it's based on the book Amok Running, and the answer is no, it's not. It's based on a German book that is just titled Amok, which is amok, but we actually say it wrong because it's based on a real disease that's from Indonesia.
Oh.
And I didn't know this. And I like all of this, like learning that stuff was wild for me. Ooh, baby. But I that's kind of cool to me is like learning all that little stuff. I can't read the book because it's only in German, but the fact that I learned that there's this whole disease that running amok literally comes from is that exact disease. And the way they phrase it in the book is essentially the disease is becoming aggressively obsessed, which how that works, how that's a disease that functions, man, I have no clue, but it's weird as a concept. And my camera just died. Oh, my battery might have died.
Oh, right. I mean, there was diseases that caused people to dance in the streets until they died. Like, there's some weird stuff in the world. Yeah,
but for me, I just thought that was really interesting. Like, that there was anything like that I could, like, I never knew that. Like, I've heard the phrase running amok constantly, and I've never, ever heard it used. And I think those kinds of stories are actually kind of intriguing me more. I'm kind of like an inverse, like, book interests. You know, usually it's I get some people interested in a game because, hey, it reminds you of the book or it's based on a book that you like. Versus for me, it's like I'm actually kind of getting more interested in some books because of the stories that are being told based off of them in video games. So I thought that was kind of nifty, especially for how bad that game was. It does a terrible job explaining it. But like that's kind of cool to me. And so that's part of why I'm kind of intrigued by Faust Alptraum. Maybe I'm weird. I just kind of like Alptraum is just kind of a cool word. It's just kind of fun.
It's a really fun word to say. I agree.
But yeah, and then to round out my list, the Hex is on there because when I tried it out, it seemed pretty fun. Suicide of Rachel Foster, it caught my eye when we tried it out a little bit.
Oh.
I thought it was really good. or when I tried it out a little bit. But I never invested more time into it. It's very much a walking simulator story building game, but it's like I would argue it's told from a weirder perspective, and that's kind of cool to me. Without getting, I guess I can tell you everything I know because it's in the first 15 minutes of the game. You're going up to this old hotel that was owned by your family because your dad died, and you're taking it back over. You're kind of estranged from your dad because this is the part where it's a little hazy. He cheated on your mom with like a girl who ended up committing suicide or something. That's the part that's kind of hazy, and I don't know what's going on. That's why it's actually called Suicide of Rachel Foster. They tell you that right away. I thought you were going to be Rachel Foster, and it's telling you about like the route up to your suicide. Turns out nothing like that at all. And then you're ending up you're really only going there to grab the keys, leave because you're going to sell it, and then you get hit by a giant storm, and you're stuck in it. And that's the last thing I saw before I stopped playing. And I'm just like,
Okay, so
excited. What's up?
I looked at the word Altrom. It's with the definition of it. It seems to be frightening dreams, usually during REM sleep, that are normal and common in children under 10, but can also affect teens and adults. I didn't realize that nightmares were like less common after you hit 10. I think it's just like nightmares.
That's actually kind of interesting.
Oh, it's literally nightmares. That's literally
really
what it
cool.
translates to.
Well, that's such a cooler word than nightmares. I like Alptron.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nightmare's a pretty fun word.
Nightmare's an all right word. I think Alptron's cooler.
Nightmare like describes like I feel like it describes the meaning of it just from the word itself a bit.
Well, to be fair, it's because Alptron's not English. It's
yes,
like
exactly. So here we are.
It's probably whatever the same language Faust was.
German.
That makes sense.
Look, all I can tell you about Runamuck and Faust. Actually, I can tell you a lot about Faust. But Runamuck is a Netrunner card, and there's
and so is Faust.
Yep, and so is
checks out.
Faust.
And they're both in the same faction.
I will say I do have one final one that I think you're gonna love to hear.
Mm-hmm.
It's you and me and her.
Oh.
I've been meaning to play that, and I just haven't been making the time for it because I'm bad.
That's
but
exciting.
That's the last one for me.
I wasn't sure if you were planning to get back to that.
Oh,
I really like that game.
I always wanted to play it. It's easy to forget it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go grab. I have a remote battery thing that I can use really quick. So
yeah,
I'll be right back.
We'll stall for time.
We'll stall for time. I can just talk about more games that are coming out this year. I have that list. Oh, there's a Digimon game coming out in February. That could be interesting.
I've never really been too into the Digimon games because I feel like they're just kind of standard JRPGs, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. Let's see. Wild Hearts, but I feel like that already came out.
Wild Hearts did already come out?
It's coming to consoles.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, that reminds me. There's a game that I've always been eyeing for such a long time that I just keep not playing because I keep not owning it and just never buying it because I'm too cheap when it's even on sale. Have you heard of No Straight Roads or played it?
No.
That game looks so good to me. Maybe I'm weird.
Oh, that reminds me. A game I really want to play next year is Kentucky Route Zero.
Oh yeah, that's been on my thing for a while. I think it's on the Game Pass.
I believe it is, yeah.
The Fire Emblem Engage is coming out, which I think is different than regular Fire Emblem.
It's a new Fire Emblem. Isn't that the brand new one? With the
I thought it had a different
blue red hair
to it.
I wouldn't know about that.
Nope, it looks like plain old Fire Emblem. So
as far as I knew, it was just a plain Fire Emblem game. But I love the hairstyle they knew as characters, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Oh, so apparently it's not even on. That's weird. I could have sworn it was on Xbox. I would check out No Straight Roads. It's a game that's about two. It's kind of like I don't know the best way to describe it, but essentially you're two musicians fighting against the EDM empire. That's literally here. I'm just gonna read the paragraph. Start a rock band and end the EDM empire. No Straight Roads, a rock and action adventure that mashes together rhythm-infused third-person combat and a kick-ass soundtrack.
So
So it's like Brutal Legends, but
yeah,
for rock
it's
and
modern
roll,
Brutal
not
Legend.
metal.
Kind of, yeah. I would argue it's definitely like if you look at the gameplay, it's very clearly not the same gameplay of Brutal Legends, which from what I've been told is actually was really cool at the time, but also didn't age well. And also Brutal Legends, I'm talking about Brutal Legends.
Yeah, Brutal Legend was cool, but didn't quite work.
Well, I've been told like it's good the first couple times and then it gets bad.
Yeah,
Because
the
not
more
necessarily
you go,
bad. It's just like it gets
it
old.
kind of falls apart. Yeah, it's
Just
a
play
weird
it
game.
once.
Yeah,
Just play it once and be done.
I've been wanting to play it, but I actually never.
It's not a bad game. I think I completed that game. So
I mean,
yeah.
it has Jack Black in it, so
That's another reason why I definitely
it also
want
has
Gotta be at
Ozzy
least
Osbourne in it.
decent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is no straight roads, and like it's got super cool
The art
stylization,
style looks sweet.
right?
That
Well, there's
looks
also
cool.
just this screenshot alone, like, resold me. Even though I've always it's one of those games that it's been on my wish list because like it resonates just from the theme of it so much. Like the idea just sounds so fun to me and so like good play. Like it's not like I hate EDM. It's just like the idea seems kind of funny to me, and like the musical third person action stuff. It sounds great, and then I just keep not buying it because well, it doesn't go that deep on sales, and it's hard for me to justify paying money for a really old game, honestly. Although this says it was released 2021, so $16 for a game in 2021 isn't too bad. But part of it's the Encore edition, which I think was like a complete re-release where they just included the soundtrack and stuff. I don't know. It's just I feel like in a weird way, gaming has maybe become more and more frugal because it's like I know there's so many good indie devs that have done so much that are super solid too. I don't know.
Wait, the Norwood Sweet guy made a new game.
Did he really?
It's called Betrayal at Club Low, and it takes place in the same city.
Oh, I need to play
I
that
wanna play
too.
that. Yeah, that.
Oh,
like
Betrayal at Club Low. I heard The
Yeah.
Trail at Club Low.
no,
Trail.
like the Norwood Suite was such a weird game. Like, it wasn't
I-
great, but I liked it a lot.
I don't know how to describe that game. I still
was
don't know what I
cool.
played. I played it, and then that's all I can say about it. Wow, this game looks weird. This very much does not play the same as Norwood Suite. In fact, this UI looks atrociously awful. By the way,
Oh, I
Oh,
love
man.
that. Yeah,
this looks so bad. I want to play it.
yeah. That's
you know
that's kind of the charm.
You know it's not atrociously awful and so bad you want to play? Our number 5 pick
True.
in our top 10 list.
Okay, we should probably just.
I
get
am
back to
excited
this,
for that.
shouldn't we? Hello.
Well,
Which
see,
one?
man, I feel bad because like I feel like my number 5, it like arguably could be all the way down at number 10, but it's like still just an absolute slapper of a game that I've been enjoying quite a
Are
bit.
you having regrets about your list?
No, not at all. Because I feel like we played a lot with this game, and for me at least, I've got a lot of value about playing it with my friends, and it's been super duper fun. But it also doesn't like blow in my mind for stories because it's the only. Clicking over to this and tabbing. It's played up.
Okay. All the way up at 5.
Yeah,
Again,
no,
to be fair, I feel like all of my 5th through 10th could be moved around.
Yeah.
If anything, arguably, Played Up could be moved down to 10th and everything slid up one. But I just knew that Played Up, like, hit that perfect itch. Like, this is... I was looking for a game like this for a while. This, to me, was, like, what I was really hoping from Overcooked. Like, every time I played Overcooked, I was like, man, I just wish it was more like Played Up. I wish the game played like Played Up. I want Played
Yeah,
Up.
it has just enough of that management side to hit the spot. And
Yeah.
It's like a
solid
management
game.
Yeah.
co-op, roguelike thing, and it's very cool. I
It's
like it
such
a
a
lot.
specific itch, but it
Yep.
feels so good because it's like when you want a game that's that specific, like you're kind of okay. Like you play some other ones, and you're like, they're fine. They kind of get that. It's one thing when like your brain is like, I want this exact way of playing this game. Also, oh my god, this trailer is so old. It looks awful.
Oh god, those conveyor belts.
Yeah, this is their original trailer when they showed off the game. By the way, before that was like actually fully out. This is them
Is
selling
that
the
what's-
concept. That's why all the
Good.
art's
I mean-
terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't look terrible, but like,
No, look at the coin symbol.
like for
it's
what
like-
it was, like it's a good concept trailer, honestly.
It did its job
Yeah.
right, and it sold me on this, and it was so I don't know why, I just loved it. The interaction with the friends is fun. The like wildness of the different random things working well. The fact that they've really grown into what they've done to build like cool holiday stuff. I don't think any of us, or even they, were probably expecting to do cool Thanksgiving challenges that just kind of changed enough that it made it wild.
I mean, that Christmas one was crazy.
Yeah, the Christmas one
The
was
Christmas one was
nuts. And I think that's kind of the thing that gets to me is it's just really solid. And it's solid fun with friends. So how can I
Yeah.
complain
Yeah,
about that?
I am a sucker for hot nonsense in my roguelikes, and this is
Hot
some
nonsense.
hot
It's
nonsense.
Hot
great.
nonsense. Yeah.
literally hot nonsense. That's what we're serving in a restaurant.
And so for me, that's why it takes a fifth. And I feel like it makes sense. Like again, 5th through 10th, I feel like I have passion for them, for just like a different degree of so many different things because of how good they were. It's weird because like Played Up was great for just that specific thing, but it's not like, oh my god, the best story. Oh my god, this is gonna change. Like it changes how I think about things, or like it echoes me. It's just like, no, it's just good fun, good hot nonsense.
Yeah, no, I get that. Oh, Snack, wake up. It's
Snick,
not time to
please.
sleep yet.
Snick,
We still have
Snick.
10 minutes till midnight.
Mr. Richard, wake up.
Right.
So my 5th game is Persona 5 Strikers.
Oh,
Okay.
I never got to play
Yeah,
it, but I
I-
wanted to.
Oh, it's so good. It's more Persona 5. You get to go on a fun road trip. You get to drive around everywhere. It's the battle's different from regular Persona. It feels a little more snappy, like than actual Persona in terms of story, probably because you're moving from city to city. But it's just solid. I haven't finished it yet, but because I'm bad at remembering things exist. Sorry, PS4, as it collects dust.
Yeah, I didn't have a
Oh.
PS4 this year at all.
Yeah, but yeah, Persona 5 Strikers, pretty solid.
All right. I have a very spicy pick for my number 5.
I'm ready.
I feel like you all probably
spice.
will feel like this is coming out of nowhere because it is. Because this is another game I only started playing a week ago. I also preface this with this is my number 5. I think 5, 4, and 3 could all be mixed around pretty equally. I think it's very, very close between all of them. So yeah, I started playing this week ago. I'm not actually nearly done with this game.
Okay.
But this is the game I alluded to earlier that has like I think it's like 30 different endings.
Oh wow.
I got one of them, and it was like not even a full playthrough of the game that I got it. And words are hard. So this
Words
game
are
is
hard.
the name of the game is I need to let's see. Where's my list? I was a teenage exocolonist. Have you all heard of this yet?
Why is that familiar? Why is that
No,
familiar?
No, I have not.
The game came out very recently and was like not on my radar at all, and then suddenly it was, and I was like, all right, let's try this out, and I was super impressed. So it's a visual novel with heavy time management elements. Basically, you are a kid on a colony spaceship. You were born on the colony spaceship, and you are finally getting to your destination. You go through a wormhole and land on the planet you've been trying to get to for the past 20 years, and it's your life from age 10 to 20.
Okay.
You like all the characters will actually grow. So this is like when you're in your early life, and then
That's so
the first
cool.
picture you showed was it like you're later in life. I haven't even seen that person grow up yet. That's neat.
This
I
looks so
haven't gotten
cool.
so yeah, it has the gameplay is really neat. It's a very simple like poker style system. You get cards that represent like events from your life, that have like different values and whatnot, and you
Yeah.
try to make just the best hands you can with them. Um,
God, this looks so
and
cool.
that part's nice, and it breaks up kind of the reading and the monotony of the game. The biggest reason I think this has really blown me away is the diversity and representation is the probably the best I've ever seen in a video game, or just in general.
Awesome.
Period, in any work of media. It has a slider for both sex and gender separately.
Oh, that's cool.
Which-
That's
Okay.
really cool.
You can also change either of them at any time. And like
love
choose your like if you choose to be like they them, you can specify your pronouns even. They have multiple like major characters who are non-binary, and another one who is trans. And like that informs their characters, but like isn't like
Isn't their character?
it isn't their entire character. Yeah. And it's just really, really well done and really cool to see that.
That's super cool. God, this game looks really solid.
I was really impressed. I got one ending, like I'm on year 16, I think, out of 20.
Sheesh.
So I'm gonna like reload my save and actually finish out the rest of the playthrough. But yeah, I am really enjoying it so far.
Okay, this is a little off topic. I don't know why they do this. For some reason, instead of having actual gameplay at the top of their Steam, though, which is what it's for, it's just like their version
just like
of
their
a lo-fi
OST.
beats.
Their OST is pretty good.
Alright.
I will say, like, the game is like it looks pretty like chill and happy here. It's not. This game goes hard.
I mean,
this is not.
it
this
makes
is not
sense.
a lo-fi game to lo-fi beats to study to game.
Yeah, like a lot of times, like it encompasses the full spectrum. Like you have some happy times, and you have some times when, like a child dies, and that's the thing.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's my number 5. It's
that's
very
cool.
good. I originally I had this up to number 3, and I shifted things around a bit because like some of it might be a bit recency bias. I'm like, all right, I should lower it a bit, but I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's technically all of this year, so there's all at least a little bit of recency bias.
That's true. This is just I kind of binged it and
That's
played a
also
bunch of
fair.
it in like
Yeah.
3 days. So here we are. Also, we forgot to do the number 5 like intro, so we have to do it for number 4 now.
Number 4. Four.
FOUR.
All right. This is where it should probably, in my opinion, 4, 3, 2, and 1 are pretty obvious for me, or at least
Okay.
relatively okay guesses. Like you could, when I say these, it's gonna be like, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My 4th, was, oops, that's the wrong direction. Was actually, what a lovely way to start it with the mature tag. It's Deathloop.
Yeah,
Deathloop's
this makes
really
a lot of
solid.
sense.
God, this like, I didn't realize who the makers of this game were, and I think that's part of what like set it up for not like having expectations. I didn't have any expectations going into this. If anything, I was based off of like I saw it, I thought it looked interesting, and I thought I heard people weren't loving it. They didn't think it was that great of a game. And then I played it and it was like, this is really good. I love this. I went so hard on this game that I just like I slammed the whole game like almost instantly. It was just
Yeah.
it was so my thing.
I think people's main complaint of the game is that it just goes on for a bit too long.
I could understand that. I feel like part of my problem is like I actually don't think that, but also like I liked all the different exploration stuff. Like there's specific there's actually like one side quest that I think is just insanely good and is like one of the most like awesome experiences to get to do, and I feel like a lot of people completely missed it because it was a side quest that was actually kind of hard to get into, kind of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of why like I think it's so good to me is I love the story. I love all of the endings that they provide. That's one of the funny ones is like I will admit, if you're trying to get all the endings, kind of a bit of a pain. Um,
Mhm.
but it's also convenient, like to have the fact of like, yeah, but you know exactly what you're doing when you're getting those endings too, right? Like, and in a
Yeah.
weird way, because I'm already a speedrunner, like it kind of naturally felt like it progressed like speedrunning progressed. There were so many like little story elements that I thought were super fun and like just here and there, like thrown in of like, oh, the little thing they just kind of hide and you notice and it feels super good, or like, oh, of course that happened after the day. I'm gonna spoil one of my favorite ones because I don't think most people are gonna like care. There's a character who's playing guitar. At the start of the loop, he sucks. At the end of the loop, he's awesome. You actually get to see him get better at playing guitar the entire time. So like each
That's
step of
cool.
getting to see it, like I love little things like that. Like they're such good little flavor nuggets, and especially for a game that's designed around
Wait, guys,
the same
we're,
things.
we're
It's great.
minute from midnight here.
Oh boy,
Yeah, we are.
that's so perfect to be
So
talking about Deathloop in time when we're about to be hitting a brand new year.
right, yeah. It's almost time here. Let's see.
Um,
Let's take a minute to think about all the games we didn't finish. Moment of silence for the games we didn't finish in 2022, but might finish in
In
2023.
2023.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I feel called out.
I mean, aren't we all?
I think this whole group's being called out right now.
It's true though. It's true though.
I literally have a section of my Steam that's just stuff I've half finished and started and eventually want to go back to. And there's stuff here that's very old and I don't want to talk about it.
Also, do. Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year from Denver,
Happy
Colorado.
New Year. We did it. We made it to 2023.
We did it. Some
I'm-
said it wasn't possible.
I'm
but we
still an
did
hour
it.
late, guys. I'll see you. I'll see you there in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Not me. I beat all the games I played this year.
Happy New Year. Hey.
But a game that did not go unfinished this year, well, okay, kind of. but I'm just too small brained and don't have enough patience to do it. Because I know exactly what I need to do. There's so many button clicking. It's Tunic. Tunic was a fabulous game.
It's real good.
I absolutely loved it.
I'm glad you liked it a lot. Like I know you kind of fell off at the end, but I'm glad to hear you actually ended up really liking it that much.
Like I said, I understand what to do at the end. It's very tedious, and I don't have that patience. So
I get you.
That's fair.
but beautiful game. Loved the art style. Loved everything they did. Like have the manual itself, and it's
it looks
the perfect.
gorgeous.
It's the perfect light. Jordan, what are those crazy games you play? With the whip, La Mulanas. It's a light La Mulana.
It's a softcore archaeology simulator rather than a hardcore
It's a
one.
Mulana like.
It's a
Yeah,
Mulana-like.
not I guess it's beautiful. So that's my number 4, Tunic.
Nifty.
All right. My number 4 is Neon White.
Oh, I'm so sad I never got to play that this year. I didn't get a chance to play that this year.
Neon
Same.
White, Neon White slaps. Like that's. I can just leave it at that. It's the game, like, is basically like the best way of describing it is like a speedrunning puzzle game, because it doesn't necessarily feel like you're I wasn't going into it speedrunning. It's like, oh, I'm solving a puzzle, and it's very similar to Hotline Miami, where like Hotline Miami is a puzzle game where all the solutions involve murder. This is a puzzle game where all the solutions involve doing sweet speedrunning things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It makes you feel so cool. The story is actually quite good. It controls super well, and this is a game where I think it does collectibles really, really well, because all the collectibles make you reevaluate the level and like have to make you think about using your resources, which in this game resources are guns, uh,
It was great.
in like unique and cool ways to try to get to the collectible.
Mm.
It's great. It's like a perfect length of time. It's not too short. It's not excessively long. Uh, it just makes you feel cooler and cooler the longer you go. It's great. I'm gonna play it.
I've been
Neon
meaning to play
Purple
it.
though.
That should be on my list. That
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, Neon Purple will smash you. You're right. The challenges are also super fun. Purple's challenges were some of my favorite levels in the game. Hopefully, it comes to Game Pass eventually.
Oh man, that would
Yeah.
be fantastic. I want to play it so badly. It's just like it's one of those things of like frugally picking, especially when you know you don't have enough time to play all the games you already have. Like, what is actually worth buying and spending time on?
You'd be super into it. Yeah, it is Annapurna, so it's like pretty likely to come to Game Pass at some point.
I'm already super into it. I'm just impatiently waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Also, geez, $70 AAA games now standard across the board, basically. Ugh,
Yeah, that's a new.
gross.
More reason to pay, not pay for those things and buy Game Pass instead.
Yeah.
If I'm being
man.
honest, like Deathloop was what, day one on Game Pass? Like things like that are like, why buy a
Atomic
$70
Heart's
game
gonna
when I
be
could
day
get an
one.
entire year? Like,
Yeah.
it's just hard
oh.
to justify it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of games on Game Pass, moving on to the third game. I feel like this shouldn't surprise you guys either. I don't know if it's still on Game Pass, but it definitely was. So I didn't technically bamboozle you there. It is actually another one with a warning for content for inappropriate children at the start. We Happy Few.
Oh, I think that is.
Okay.
God, this game was so good. This game, I know as a fact, got hammered because when they were working on it, they way overpromised what they were thinking they were going to do. And that really hurt them in the long run. They put out early access stuff that was super broken, not nearly as finished or polished, and just wasn't that great. And because of that, I think a lot of people got a really, really bad impression of this game. And I don't blame them.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
I said multiple times during your stream, like, I misjudged this game. Like, and I think looping back to one of the great things about streaming games and like that interactive experience, right? Like seeing how the game played, I'm like, this is a lot different than what I thought it was going to be.
100%.
Like, I had this game wrong in my head, and I'm excited to eventually play this.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it for me is like it feels like, and maybe this is just a general feeling I got. This felt like an open world, like style game that I always enjoyed, like either like Bioshock or like Deathloop. And maybe that's part of why I like Deathloop so much. They feel very, very similar veins to me of like, sure, you can go through this storyline, but there's all these little tiny pockets of cool little side stories, all these little pockets of just things you can get to experience that not a lot of other people think other people could just miss. Like it's kind of cool seeing that. And I genuinely like the whole story. I think the story as a whole, especially when you take into consideration the DLC, is really good. The one awkward thing is, by far the best gameplay is the last DLC they released. And the problem is, yeah, they stripped back all the things that originally made it easily sellable. This is back when everybody was like, you gotta make a game where everything's generated and everything's new, and if one person's gonna have a completely different gameplay experience than the next, then it's like,
right, yeah.
I wish they wouldn't have done that, and that's part of what made them have such a bad look at the start, was while they were working on that so heavily, it didn't work well. Because it's hard to do randomly generated good stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also, I just like the theming. I think the art style, everything, like that weird like 80s feel was just
70s almost.
or 70s,
like
old
70s,
school.
80s. Yeah.
I don't know how to
retro
call it.
feel.
It feels so good, and I enjoyed it so much. And I think that's it kind of fits very much in the same thing for me for like Deathloop, which is funny because like it's definitely not as polished as Deathloop, but I don't know. Maybe it just hit at the right time just a slightly better timing on it. It was so fun to me. It was a bit easy.
I remember you had a great time playing that game.
Yeah, it was a bit easy though. That would be the only thing I would say otherwise. Is it was a tiny bit on the easier side, especially once you got certain abilities. Like honestly, if you're wanting to play through the game and not have it be a joke, although it might be a little bit too, I forget the word for like having to do something, not just like repetitive, but like kind of like monotonous. It might be a little bit monotonous. I would not buy any of the upgrades. Honestly, the upgrades are kind of what, like, once you get like 2 upgrades, there's very specifically 2 off the top of my head that I'm like, wow, this basically makes the game completely trivial.
Yeah.
But it's really good. I just really enjoyed and loved so much of it. It was really good. How about
Nice. Man, so 2 and 3 were hard for me. But I loved 3 from the premise of the game, and 2 earned its spot in a different way, which I'll talk about when we get there. But 3 is the Umaragi. What is the full name? Umaragi Generation Special Edition. I'm in love with that game. It is beautiful. It's everything they're like, what if we took photo mode and just made a game from it? And I just, me as a person, like, and like,
it spoke to you.
I want Jordan, you should play through some of it so we can do like an in-depth thing on Game Pass. But the way they kind of interwove the story, and you aren't quite sure what's going on, and I don't know, it hit perfectly for me. It's very well up in my top 3. And yeah, you gotta go take photos. I don't know. It's a very me game too. I will give it that.
Yeah.
But from the second I saw it, I was like, download, install. I mean, I played it all through Steam. It's one of the few games. Granted, it's not in too hard, but it's one of the games I platinumed this year. I 100%ed the game. And so yeah. It's just a great. It's on Game Pass too.
Yeah,
with the DLC included, I believe.
Yes, because it's the full edition. I will say the one thing about this for me is it's really interesting for the there's not a lot of games where the story is exclusively told through you have to figure it out.
Yes.
And that can be definitely off-putting for people, but like it's kind of cool that it's just like you're not being told the story, you're experiencing the story in a very weird way. Like it's happening around you and you have to be observant enough to pick it up.
Yes. I know, it's
that's like my favorite type of thing.
I think you would actually enjoy this quite a bit.
I should play it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the best part for you is, as I know you said, sometimes like art stuff's not your thing, right? The
Art
challenge
stuff is my thing.
Oh, then this is also definitely perfect.
Yeah.
The challenges aren't too crazy.
I mean, yeah. I was gonna say it's not one where like you have to get like all the framing absolutely perfect and whatnot. So but yeah, it's great. So
all right. Yeah, I should I know you all have been telling me to play it, but I didn't really know what it was like about really, but you talking about it here, I think I will check it out at some point.
Yeah, you go with the camera,
awesome.
you complete missions, and yeah, you get to discover a story.
He kind of reminds me of 30 Flights of Loving a bit, if you all have played that.
I'm not familiar to me.
You have a penguin friend, Jordo.
That is true.
It's almost like Penguin Drum.
Almost. 30 Flights of Loving was made by the same guy who did, I think, I'm going to make sure before I say something dumb.
Blendo. Why does that sound familiar? Why is it
No,
on
not yet.
Quake?
Blendo, yes.
Oh, I've seen this game.
It's he made the hacking one. What's
the other one, the one that we were just talking about, Hypnospace Outlaw.
No, it was not that one.
Wow, this looks okay. It's not the prettiest looking game.
Oh yeah, it looks ugly. Quadrilateral Cowboy.
That's the other one, the other cowboy one, not the Hypnospace, the quadrilateral one.
Okay, so
I love that one.
this game takes like 10 minutes to play max.
Oh, really?
And is entirely it's entirely a game you have to figure out what's going on, and that's the entire game. Hilariously,
Whoa.
click on it. Go to its so it has like mixed reviews on
Yeah, it
its
does.
user scores, and then its Metacritic ratings like a 90.
What?
Oh,
That's wild.
Yeah.
wow.
You don't see that
Interesting.
often.
Yeah. It's a hard game to kind of get, and I think a lot of critics really that's what a lot of critics really wanted for games, especially at the time it came out, because it came out like a while ago now. It's like 2012, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was 2012 when that came out.
so I think it hit really well for what critics were looking for at the time, when they were kind of fatigued about like endless waves of like the same AAA stuff, not taking any risks over and over again.
Was 2012 when we were going through the zombie exhaustion phase?
Probably, yeah.
So there was definitely a whole zombie exhaustion era.
That and like just like
12 years.
it was like open world games with just like a ton of stuff on the map and just repetitive, like useless nonsense like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get to my number 3. My number 3 is actually a repeat. Now we had a second repeat. Does anyone want to guess what it is?
That's
It's
wild.
Tunic.
It is Tunic.
Okay.
Yeah, I played it and then recommended it to Scott.
You both recommended it to me too.
And it's I recommended it to you. It's like, so initially it plays like a kind of mix between Legend of Zelda and a really light, like Souls-like type. Like, it obviously has Dark Souls influences on it as well, but like not as hardcore. I think it's pretty straightforward and fine. It's got all those secrets and stuff hidden everywhere. It's fun to explore and look around. And the way its narrative and stuff evolves is really good. The thing that makes it really special is the manual mechanic. You basically you collect pieces of the manual as you go along, and that's kind of how you learn to play the game, is by you gradually get the manual.
That's adorable.
The thing about the manual is it's written in another language.
Oh no.
You don't get to translate it either. Like, it's in another language, just straight up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there is a translation for it. Like,
there technically is.
Figure out how to translate it.
You could technically do that, but it's not really feasible to at all. For all intents and purposes, it's not. It's written in another language, and you're not going to translate it. And then I think this is a game that has endings that are done really well done. It has two distinct endings with two different like play styles. It's really hard to go into much detail without spoiling the game, but I think this has at the very end, the second playthrough has a certain bit of magic to it that is one of the coolest moments I've like. It really felt like Outer Wilds level type of magic bit there. As Seskimo alluded to, it does get a bit repetitive. I don't think it works 100% of the time, but it is a cool kind of little magical moment at the end there, where you kind of reevaluate everything that came before and tie it all together in a really cool way.
That's nifty. I'm definitely adding that, especially after both of you placing it so high. I need to add that to my list of something that I should check out at some point.
It's on Gamepass too.
Gamepass.
I thought it got removed.
No,
I think it's
still there.
I will double check, but
oh yeah, no, you're 100% correct. It's still in Game Pass. This is definitely a game that's on my list then.
I originally got the Game Pass. The original reason I got Game Pass is for this game. Yeah,
wild.
I bought it for a month, played this game.
That's fair.
Had a great time.
Yeah, okay, that's definitely on my list of something I'm playing next year then.
Also, you get to be a little fox that's clearly inspired
Adorable.
by Link.
Yes.
Like, he's
That's cute. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Right there.
All right.
Are we doing honorable mentions next?
Yep, it's time for honorable
Yes.
mentions.
We should probably take a bit of a break though. It's
Oh, yeah, it
2
has been.
hours.
That sounds wonderful.
Uh,
Do
I'm
you
not-
just want to go? You mentioned all yours.
yeah, I think
Like,
that's the best way to go.
Yeah.
Mine's gonna be pretty quick, especially because I moved Bioshock 2 off of it now. RoboQuest, absolutely slapping, good time. I really enjoyed it. I played it literally yesterday. It's just a first-person shooter roguelike. It's very much in early access right now, but they're getting close to official release, and I've just been enjoying it. I don't know what it is with first-person roguelikes. Some of them just absolutely hit so well for me. We Were Here Forever was originally actually 10th slot, and then I was like, you know what? No, Stories Untold is just actually better. But I really enjoyed that series as a whole. Was pretty solid. Not the best game I've ever played, and there was plenty of broken things with We Were Here Forever, but good memories. Vampire Survivor. What can I say? That game just had so much time sunk into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much it just came at the right time when I needed something to play a lot of. Super Kiwi 64. I played it. I enjoyed it a substantial amount, and it's a good budget option. And then Just Act Natural has just been a really good time with my friends. It's not like anything that blows my mind, but it's a good time with my friends.
That's fair. I really liked We Were Here Forever too. It didn't quite make my honorable mentions, but I think it's. I did enjoy it a lot. I had a fun time with it. Especially the puzzle where you like the timed puzzle where you have to like pass things back and forth to create the like the different like the recipe one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like
Okay. If it wasn't for how awful that ran, that one was really good. The problem was it actually ran abysmally bad for some reason. Like of all the levels, I was like losing a ton of frames on that.
I honestly just want an entire game of that. That'd be cool.
I don't disagree. I actually think they had a lot of stuff that hit really well. I think the puzzles actually hit its stride in that game. That might be the first one that's actually better than the first.
My only problem with it was there's a lot of like one-sided puzzles where it's like one person does all the work and one person has to wait. But
yeah, it's definitely not a perfect game, but I think it's the first time they have. I felt like because this is the fourth one.
The fourth one, yeah.
Yeah, the second and the third just weren't as good as the first, and the second was bad.
I actually like the third. I think I like the third one the most, honestly.
Interesting. That's fair. So I think that's one of the interesting things. But yeah, how about you, Sesamo? What you got for your honorable mentions?
Yeah, I got some categories for you. In the category of I played this because I couldn't decide if I liked it or not is Shredders. It's a snowboarding game.
What?
I got 80% of the achievements on it this year, but I still don't know if I like the game or not. So do with that what you will.
What?
I love that.
Like I said, I played it to see if I like it or not.
And you still don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if I like it more than Steep. I just don't know. And I played better escape room puzzle games. Is Escape Academy. Great visual novel with escape rooms, but 999 just beat it out. I thought those story points were more, and the interesting way to go the paths was better. Escape Academy was very kind of linear, but still fun and good escape rooms. Let's see, what else do I have on here? I think. I would have rather gone to D&D night. Is Soltarsta. I don't know how to say it.
Solasta?
Solasta, there we go. It's D&D 5e as a video game. I wish I was at D&D night. And then yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
I love the little like titles you had.
Yeah.
Those are good. I can't.
I was gonna say mine weren't that creative.
Yeah, same. All right, my honorable mentions. I expanded my list to 5 because I thought you all were doing 5, and then you shortened yours to 3.
Mine was 5.
Yours is 5.
I mean, I have 2 more.
Just do your 2 then.
Yeah, do your 2 more.
Stellaris. Yeah, Stellaris. And then Oh, I understand why everyone likes it, but I'm also meh on it is Hades.
Interesting. That's fair, but interesting.
It's
Same.
it's a it's a it's a very solid, tight roguelike, and I get why everyone likes it. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's super. It's like it's like that good crushable beer, or that something you enjoy. Like, yeah, I can just keep drinking this over and over again. It's great. Like, but there's nothing overly crazy to write home about.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're doing a Hades 2.
Why not? Because you can.
I guess.
Because
Yeah.
money.
I
Yeah.
mean, honestly,
Anyways.
because they enjoyed the writing and they thought they have another new story they could tell.
Yeah.
And I think that's
That's
actually
cool.
not a bad bet.
I haven't looked too much into it. But yeah.
There's
So there we go.
there's enough mythology. You can probably make like Hades 5 through 10.
The mythology the lore is deep. Speaking of mythology, I wasn't going to say this one first, but I'm going to say it now.
That segue though.
Long Milana 2 is on my honorable mentions. It's on my honorable mentions because I didn't play it first this year, but the DLC was first this year, and I just had a fun time replaying through the game in the first place because it was like a weird mix of I kind of remember these things that are going on, and then also I spent an hour on a super simple puzzle at the very start because I didn't go back to the starting room.
I feel like I know that kind of feeling. Weird. Nah, must be me.
What are you referring to?
Bioshock 2?
Oh, I didn't see your full playthrough of that.
No, the catch was I literally played through the whole game before and I just don't remember it. And so
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I remembered a lot of it, but like, there's just a lot of puzzles in this game.
that's also fair.
But yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was fun. I still need to finish the DLC, honestly, but it's Fishbrain.
Oh, I thought you already
And
finished
that's why
it.
it's on. And I finished the main game, and then I finished like half the DLC, and then
Gotcha.
haven't gone back to it because Fishbrain, and that's why it's an honorable mention. Next honorable mention, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I played way too much of this game to not mention this game. I like when I first got into it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play some meme decks and have fun for a bit, and then be done with it or whatever. And then I just got really into Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't know how I'm supposed to reply to this.
Are you feeling attacked, Jovine?
No, but like it's a weird feeling hearing somebody put that on a list of like even honorable mentions. But it's fair. It's just because like that much time got spent on it. I get you.
I had a lot of fun with like I had fun getting into Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it not even like low.
I mean, it's
level
Vampire
Yu-Gi-Oh, but,
Survivors for me. I get you.
yeah, like I made it to the one of like the max rank bracket in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I played a lot of the game and was relatively good at it. And I played a game earlier yesterday, I guess. And it's just nice. Next honorable mention, Dragonflight, because I really like. I don't really want to like say an MMO as my top games, and honestly, like
I agree.
it's not on the same echelon of like some of my favorite games in terms of gameplay and story and everything. But I'm just having a lot of fun with Dragonflight.
I agree. I was putting a pin in it until next year. I think was the bigger thing for me because I feel like it's awkward because I don't know how much of Dragonflight I'm actually going to enjoy. Like, I agree with you. I really have been enjoying it, but like I feel like next year is really going to be the defining thing of whether or not Dragonflight is actually one of the greatest WoW expansions of all time. Like unironically.
Yeah, this is where I put all my like live service games that I
fair.
play. I also put Fate Grand Order because the story chapter they released this year was one of the best ones they've ever released, which is saying something. It was cool. It's exciting. It makes me want to keep playing the game, and the gameplay continues to be fun and interesting and cool. And who doesn't like Greek gods in mecha suits, or who are mechas fighting each other?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And then my final one is a monsters expedition through puzzling exhibitions.
Oh, I remember you showing me this one. I love the name.
It's a charming little game.
Yeah.
It's an open world-ish puzzle game about pushing logs around islands as a monster to look at a human museum. Uh, it's just such a solid, chill puzzle game. I would just like play this at night and just keep playing and playing. The puzzles are really good and creative and unique for it just being pushing logs around. It just plays super smoothly. I liked it a lot.
It's so cute.
This was like I considered putting this one was like the closest one to being on my main list.
Oh, this has Carto vibes.
Right? That was
A
a
little
good game
bit.
Carto
too.
was good.
Carto wasn't this year, right? That was last
I
year,
don't-
right?
No, it was last year you played Carto.
Okay. I was like a little
Jordan,
worried.
You should play Carto.
I don't
play
think it's on the
Carto.
list anymore. But...
It's on my it was on my radar of things to play, but never got around to it. I played it on Switch too. I think it works really, really well on Switch.
What? Why is there a bundle called Baba's Sausage Expedition?
Oh, those are like that's the holy trinity of puzzle games.
Baba's Sausage Expedition is the whole.
Baba is you, Steven's Sausage Roll, and a Monsters Expedition through Curious Exhibitions. So Steven's Sausage Roll is. Have you seen Steven's Sausage Roll?
I
Because
mean,
you
I'm
have-
looking at it right now.
It looks awful. It is very similar to the puzzles in
Expedition.
Expedition. It's literally you're just a guy rolling around some sausages, and you need to grill them all. And once you grill them all, you're done.
Why is it
It
$30?
looks
It's a good game. I wouldn't pay $30 for it. I think I got it for like 5 or 10 or whatever. It's just a puzzle game in its purest form, kind of like Baba Is You in this. It like has that wacky theme, but there's no story to it at all. This one has great writing. I really like the writing in Monster Expedition. Yeah, Stefan's Sausage Roll. The main thing Stefan's Sausage Roll is the big thing I don't like in puzzle games is when to make the puzzles more difficult, they just give you more stuff.
I get what you mean, yeah.
The Sausage Roll game looks like you asked your mom for Minecraft, and she said we have Minecraft at home.
Oh, yeah,
Mood.
it's yeah,
Look,
yeah. I
change
mean,
my
there's no
mind.
building, but yeah, it doesn't play anything similarly, but it does kind of look
I
like
know.
bad.
Yeah.
It
Minecraft.
just looks like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think Monsters Expedition doesn't do that. I think it keeps its puzzles really grounded and simple. And Seven Sausage Roll I ended up just dropping because at one point it just gave you this puzzle that was just so much stuff, and I was just like, I don't want it.
I'm good.
I just want simple and clean and clever.
No, I get you.
All right,
Oh.
and that was my fifth
I
one.
do have one more late addition because Brain No
Oh.
worked good. Neo no Kuni. I finally beat it this year. I've been playing it for like 3+ years. And I had put it down right before the final boss, and I finally beat it. That's all. It's also a Game Pass game now, so
Are you titling this one?
Fun.
I finally beat the final boss.
yeah, I finally remembered to beat the final boss, Neo no Kuni, the White Witch. Yeah,
I've been meaning to play that for a while. It looks really good.
it's on Game Pass. The combat system's a little weird and janky. I didn't quite fully figure it out, but I beat the game. So
Do I need to play the
There you
first
go.
one?
I think
because
that was the
the
first
White
one.
Witch is the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Wrath of the
thought
White
Nino
Witch.
Tuni 2 was the one that's on Game Pass, not one.
No, I think it's the first. It's the Wrath of the White Witch.
No.
Oh, you're totally right. Sweet, even better. Oh, because it's the
it's
remastered
Ghibli
one.
as well.
It's the remastered
Yeah.
one. Perfect. Oh, I literally already have this downloaded. Let's go. Oh, well, I knew
Anyway.
it was a game that was on my list that I wanted to play. So
Oh yeah.
Alright.
All right, here we go. Here's the big number 2, the one you've all
Number
been waiting
2.
for,
Yep.
because we all know what number 1 is.
Yup.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a possible guess for you guys because I haven't brought it up yet, and I definitely really loved the game when I played it. But if you've forgotten about it, then I don't blame you because it was a while ago.
Okay? Should we all try to guess each other's number 2s?
Oh, then don't look at stream.
I'm not like answer. I honestly don't remember most of the stuff you play. but that's fine because it's more fun that way.
Well, because of that,
I'm-
I do think that that does give you guys a direct, bigger advantage for me than it does
Did
for me for you.
Did you play this? Oh, what's the game where you're the person in the temp agency and you died a bunch of times? What is that game called?
Oh, Yuppie Psycho.
Yeah, did you play Yuppie Psycho this year? Was that this year? My guess is Yuppie Psycho.
So in second place is Yuppie Psycho.
Hey.
Cause God, this game just slapped so hard. I don't know what it was.
Oh,
The story was so, it just felt so good. I don't. It's hard for me to describe. This is one of those ones where like, I don't think I've played a game like this. I think this is what really pushed me again into like the like weird horror games. This kind of like part of what this did was reignite my want to play more horror games. Which I guess I can also asterisk give a little bit of credit to Security Breach. Weird game. Technically played that last year, not this year, if we're being honest. But I think by my definitions of like last year, including December, it was this year too. But that game was really, really broken and weird. It pushed me into trying this game, and this game was so good. I just enjoyed the story. It felt like an absolute blast the entire time, and the gameplay was just kind of nice. It's weird, like having these weird pixel art adventures. It just feels good, man. What can I say? It man, it went harder than it had any business going, and I respect them for doing that and releasing a whole DLC that literally added like way better endings. That maybe that's the other thing that I got as an advantage playing it so late is I got the bonus endings that they added for the DLC, which were amazingly good endings and amazingly good content.
I only saw you play like the first 2 hours of this, and then none of the rest of it.
Oh,
But
this game's good. I would recommend it, but I don't know
yeah,
if you're
it's
gonna
your
like it as much as I do.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
I like the I like the RPG style like horror games. Like I keep trying to get people to play Your Turn to Die because that game's incredible, but the last half chapter isn't out yet, so no one will play it. And I keep waiting.
I will also say there is like there's no like actual combat. Like that's part of what's kind of cool. I think you've actually
Yeah, I like games with no combat.
you've kind of like anti-combat pilled me. I don't know what you've done, but like I keep playing games now and I'm like, do we really need this combat here? This kind of seems bad. Or like
a lot of times it's just repetitive and unnecessary.
Yeah, and I think like that's
It just gets in the way of having fun.
yeah, exactly. I love how Cyclone's like, what could number one be if Yuppie Psycho didn't get number one? And it's like, no, you know, my friend, we all know what number one is. You gotta wait a little
We
bit.
literally said it on I think the last
Yeah.
2 GamePassPals ago or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. Do you two want to guess my game?
Yeah,
I have
we all have
no
to guess.
clue. What here? Can I look through your list to see what you've at least played? I'm allowed to do that, right?
Oh yeah. you can
Otherwise,
look-
I'm SOL.
I posted in GamePassPals. You can look too.
I would just
Okay,
look. Show it
I,
on
like,
screen.
post my list too, but, let's see.
You can just click it.
where is it?
All year of
GamePassPals.
2022.
I don't think you guys will guess this.
Let's see. Okay, these are all the. Wait, no. How do I?
I think I want you to guess before I tell you why this game made two.
Wait, how do I see the? Oh, okay, wait.
At the top, you gotta select 2022.
Games.
Obviously, it's Banjo Tooie because that game slaps.
Is that your guess?
No, that game does slap, but you didn't talk about this one. No, you barely played it. Never mind.
Okay, here we go.
Honestly, I'm gonna be astounded if this is your second, but based off the things that I'm looking at, I feel like it's gotta be Gorogoa.
I'm going to guess.
Oh, I guess it could be Breath Edge, which I didn't check out yet. But my gut says Gorogoa. or if you're being a little bit cheeky, ESO, because you've been really enjoying it with your brother, but I'm definitely leaning towards Goragoa and locking that one in.
I'm going with
Okay.
Citizen Sleeper.
This game made number 2 for some of the same reasons your game ended up at number 2. I never saw myself liking this genre of game. I've always heavily bounced off of it. And lately, this game, it's just slapped. It's ESO. My number 2
Okay.
is ESO.
Oh, wow, all right.
You've been playing it constantly with your brother.
Oh, and so I tried like WoW, I've tried Final Fantasy, I did Fallout. I've tried a bunch, and I've always hard bounced off of MMOs. But there's something about Elder Scrolls Online. It is perfect mix of I can come home after work and like still have stuff to do because there's so much solo content that I don't need anyone else for. I can just choose to play. And then now it's like, oh, it's what I've always wanted at MMO. I've always wanted to like up with your friends, like run around and do stuff together. And you know, my brother's like, yeah, let's go do things. So, and I kind of did today. I did the last part of what I would quote unquote consider an MMO. Like we queued up for a harder dungeon, and we had 2 other people, and we ran through 2 dungeons today. Like, I mean,
If that's not end game, I don't know what is.
yeah, like I mean, and I've consistently like so for me, it's the fact that this game got me into a genre that I would never see myself playing, and it's probably considered more of a hybrid MMO or whatever, and some people say it's like dead, but
Oh, it's definitely not dead.
I mean, yeah, but the fact that I can log in and run around a world, and I think it's the right amount of like high fantasy 2. The game itself is absolutely beautiful. Like, I mean, to tell you how much I've enjoyed this game, I've signed up for like the premium membership. So I like,
Oh, that's wild.
like
Yeah,
I'm full MMO. Like it's
full invested. It's got its
but,
claws.
You know, it's got its claws. But
I get you.
yeah, that's really, really why this made number 2 for me. Like, yeah.
I didn't think you were going to be picking an MMO. That's actually what threw me off. I was like, I know you've been playing it a ton because I keep seeing you playing it, but I didn't think you would pick an MMO. I guess I should have expected you to at least mention it in honorable mentions. That was kind of what was throwing me off. It's like, what do you have playtime in that you didn't honorably mention?
Yeah. Also, I want to give once again, anyone who's watching and questioning about the Game Pass, this past like week, I was up in the mountains. I cloud played ESO online from like on my laptop, and it like
That's
ran
amazing.
perfectly smooth. Like there were a few weird like glitches and stuff, but like 99% of the time, the cloud play on a decent like Wi-Fi, perfectly smooth on an online game. Like my brother and I were
Wild.
still playing. He took the big TV, and I'm like, oh, I'll just post up on my laptop. So shout out to that. Like the ultimate version of the Game Pass where you get the cloud play. It's so good.
Chef's kiss.
For funsies, I even tried it like on my phone. I played like 3 hours of ESO on my phone.
Wow,
Can't do that with World of Warcraft.
that's probably true.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. Game Pass Cloud Play.
Yeah. Well, it's even going to be easier when they finally bring the family pack for Game Pass.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wish it was here already because the value of that is going to be nuts, especially considering it's going to be Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah,
And it's 4 or 5 people. 5 people Game Pass Ultimate, and I think it's going to be $25 US. Like, oh my god.
Look. Hello, corporate overlords. Please hear our call to sponsor us. The Game Pass is a ridiculous deal. Even compared, I looked at PlayStation's to give it a fair thing, and it just doesn't hold up. I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
Steam, Steam's a great competitor because they have so many fabulous sales, and you can get games on the cheap and completely own them, which
yeah.
is one of the unfortunate things about the Game Pass. It is a little nice that you do get a small discount if you like a game enough to buy it. You can throw back to the people, but I don't
best
know.
thing about Games Pass too is that if you're just busy or don't are done with everything, you just stop paying until you want to play again. Like
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's really good.
it's phenomenal.
All right, Wizard, how are you feeling for your number 2?
All right, do you want me to post a list of the things I've played so far?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yes,
All right.
yes, yes.
This is stuff I've played that I have not mentioned so far. It is in the GamePassPals.
All right,
list,
let's.
and you can guess from there.
Oh, that list is not very big.
It's not very big. I think it's going to. I think you can probably get it here.
I don't think you like that as much as I did. I have one guess that I'm leaning towards. Oh, no, never mind. I know for sure what it has to be. I'm sad that you didn't honorably mention a different one. But I'm pretty confident that I know exactly which one it has to be.
I don't think it quite deserved an honorable mention, but I did like it a lot.
That's fair. I'm gonna tell you right now, Cyclone. No, it's not. I'm pretty confident it's yeah. I'm just gonna say I'm pretty confident it's I. It's I, the Somnium Files, Nirvana Initiative.
I think it's Psychonauts 2 as well.
I like Psychonauts 2, and I think that I'm just astounded you didn't even honorably mention it. Side note, I do think Superliminal is really good. I'm kind of sad that none of us mentioned it, and I also am pretty confident that means you didn't like it. I loved it. I would have put Psychonauts 2 in my top. I don't think Jordo did. I'm 100% sure it's I, because of everything you've been saying and how much you absolutely loved I. I'm pretty confident it's I.
My number 2 is the Somnium Nirvana Initiative.
Alright,
yeah.
well,
I'm astounded
I
you didn't put Psychonauts 2 in your honorable mentions.
I really like Psychonauts 2. It was a lot of fun, but it didn't hit quite as. I don't think there was anything about it that was quite special enough to like. I really really like the game. Don't get me wrong. It just like there's nothing special about it to mention in honorable mentions because I kind of use those for like kind of more edge casey stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, no, that's fair.
I think it might have been a contender for like the 10th spot if I didn't put Played Up there. And I liked it a lot, but yeah, no, it just didn't quite hit me the same way. The Somni Files, I had a lot of fun with. I really liked the first game, and I think they took the foundations from the first game and just made it better. So this is the same writer as the 999 Zero Escape series and everything.
Was it a pure visual novel?
No, it's more video even
gorgeous.
than visual novel. There's less reading involved. And it's like all voice acted, and then the gameplay is really unique. It's like kind of puzzly escape room type things, but weird.
What have you done to me? This 3D anime no longer looks as awful as it used to look.
Yeah, no, it looks good for what it
Because
is.
it's a video game?
Maybe.
Did you change your expectations because of what the media format?
I think it's actually Persona's doing, to be honest.
Fair.
Persona softened my very, very aggressive hate for 3D anime style.
And it was aggressive, people. Don't let him downplay that.
So just the premise, like the mystery, it's a mystery game. I love mystery games, and just the mystery is presented so strongly at first. I'm going to pull up let's see if I can find a quick summary of the first.
This is me and my visual novel trap because the trailer looks phenomenal. But
So let me tell you the basic premise of the game and see if I can sell you on this.
I think I read it multiple times. I
Apparently,
remember
yeah. Oh, yeah.
staring
So
at this
six years
game.
ago, right half of a corpse was found, and then 6 years later, the left half of the corpse was also found, uh,
Th-
in like perfect condition.
that's wild. The idea doesn't seem bad. Like I'm actually not like torn on like I'm not feeling like I absolutely don't want to play it. In fact, I do want to play it. It's just one of those ones where it's like it wasn't ever high on my list, and at this point I feel bad because I think it's off of. It used to be on Game Pass and it's not anymore.
This one was not. The first one was.
That's what it was. Okay,
maybe they'll come back, but
that's the hope.
yeah. I also say like what truly elevated this is, it has one of those moments in the game that makes you just like reevaluate the entirety of everything you've experienced so far.
Oh, those are the best.
You look back and be like, oh yeah, wow, and it's probably the best one of that I've ever experienced by a lot.
Interesting.
I like to hear that it's like fully voice acted.
Yeah, the third Zero Escape game is like that too.
Okay.
Yeah, but then you're playing the third Zero Escape game.
Okay, don't go too hard on them. You want me to play through the second one?
No, I want you to play through the second one anyways. I'm the heathen who says the second one's actually one of the best of the three.
You're not even. That's the general opinion. A lot of critics really like the second one the most.
Every single time I brought this up to you guys, you have said that you think the second's trash. You said, if I'm not mistaken, you said the third is better than the second, which I think is the worst by far. I think you could play 1 and 2 and just not play 3, and you're probably better off just making up the entirety of 3.
To be clear, the first one's my favorite, and I like 3 a bit more than 2, but not by a lot.
See, the difference for me is I think I like 2 the best. I think 1 is barely behind 2. Arguably, they're probably even tied, and then 3 is actually that bad.
And
yes, Cyclone. This is made by the Danganronpa people.
No, it's made by the 999 guy.
Oh, the 999 guy. Wait, they're not the same. I thought they were the same people.
No, Danganronpa was directly inspired by 999, and now they're teamed up. They're working on games together actively in a new studio.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And like they've released an anime and stuff. But yeah, this is technically slightly separate. So generally, I put 999 as my favorite among 999 and Danganronpa combined, and I say this is I like this about the same as 999, which is saying a lot.
Okay, that's fair. Apparently, there's a swinging mini game, and now I'm immediately sold on this, and I need to play this game yesterday.
Also,
oh yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah,
be on the lookout for in-depth talk on the 999 games, at least the first 2, because they're on GamePassPals.
Okay, real quick, just to explain the swinging mini game, the gameplay sections are basically you dive into people's minds to try to like figure out if they're not talking. You go into their mind and see if you can get answers that way.
That's kind of cute.
And you only have a limited amount of time, so every action you take spends a certain amount of time. And so that happens in the dream world as the swinging mini game. But the cool part is that's how the narrative branches, is depending on your choices inside those like gameplay sections.
Nifty.
Is how the narrative splits.
All right. Now I kind of.
So,
go ahead.
Do we want to go 3, 2, 1, and then after 1 say the name of our game?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it's all going to be the same. But also, I was going to say, yeah, technically, you forgot to include a game on your games played list, Wizard, that we could have guessed for second place.
Which game? I'm sure
the one that's first place. Technically, you haven't said it yet.
I purposely left that out. Yeah,
because we knew it couldn't be it.
Yes, that is correct.
All right.
I consider writing it down.
I will count us down, and after 1, we'll say the name of the game. Okay? 3, 2, 1.
Oh boy.
Paw Patrol Racing.
Wait a second.
Just kidding.
Surprise! I was trying to think of something
Bamboozled.
to say, but yeah.
Also, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. I still have a minute.
Yes, we're rounding up because Amori is coming up with the New Year. It just felt too perfect.
Cyclone
that
gets it.
that trailer
Yeah.
that Cyclone linked is their new game that they are working on.
That looks super good. I'm gonna play this Omori trailer. Actually, I might play it with the song because this
You
trailer
It's
was
already
written
played.
with this song. Like they actually did them side by side. I don't know if you guys know about that.
Funny.
It's the My Time, right? By
Yes, yes, it is by
Let's go ahead
Bowen.
and we timed that. We planned that perfectly. This is all actually pre-recorded.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like hoping we would exactly pad the time, not like not like on accident, but also not like explicitly on purpose to make this first, right at the exact same time. I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
But yeah,
I
this
sort of say
this trailer's so good.
the universe guided me to this game because I found this opening song, but before I even knew the game existed. Like it is embedded in a playlist of mine called like just vibes.
I get you.
And
I think
yeah,
the universe led all three of us to this game separately
It's great.
because I think all of us had like experiences in this game, and then I was finally like, "Hey,
oh,
I really want to play this thing," and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, let's play this thing."
Well, we
And then-
literally put it on our list, and I think it was the only one that all of us had 3 eyes on.
yeah.
Well, I think
One
I
of the
said
three.
I think before that I said like these are like the general themes, and I've heard really good things about it, and like from that,
Yeah, that's
we all
fair.
put 3 eyes.
Yeah,
This is a weird trailer.
yeah, it's great.
This is cool.
It's so
It's really good.
it's so good. It's exactly why. So this is their original trailer, by the way. Like this is their trailer that I believe they used for. So this is 8 years ago. I think this was the one they used back when they were like really trying to first introduce it. Before they did you ever watch that video I sent about the Kickstarter and how everybody thought this was a scam?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
No, I somehow
TLDR.
missed that.
I think it's from I think this is like the kind of sort of like Kickstarter trailer. Basically the story of this is actually this game barely happened. If it wasn't for the fact that this actually was Omocat's passion project, I genuinely don't think this would have happened. They ran out of money way earlier than they ever expected. What a shock. Game making's expensive. And she was just like, yeah, no, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make the game come out. I'm paying out of pocket for the rest of this to happen because it needs to be done. We've already invested so much time. Part of the issue is they got so it's made in RPG Maker, which is insane that it actually is because it doesn't feel
That's
RPG
crazy.
Maker
I didn't know that.
right? RPG Maker
Yeah.
tends to
I-
feel like
Now that you
very
said
bad. It makes
like-
sense, but also like
Yeah.
it tends to have like a feel. You can usually feel RPG Maker like
Yes.
um,
Absolutely.
This felt like playing like old school Pokemon, like on the Game Boy.
yeah.
Like it had the right amount of nostalgia. Like I would have not guessed RPG. Like it was.
Yeah. So part of what's also crazy is they actually were such a big project and a big deal that they got moved on to the newer version of RPG Maker. This is so old that it's like when MX came out, I think, or something like that. Like it's when a new one was coming out. They were like, "Hey, we want you to move to this new one. There's going to be all these cool new features. We're going to let you do it." The problem is there's a bunch of bugs with new software. They had to literally patch and fix bugs in the software while they were trying to patch and fix their own game. And so
Yeah.
like it literally went through development hell. And I just thought that was kind of
They made it out of it.
yeah, learning that
I
backstory
was
makes
gonna
it even
say,
more
it made it
impressive.
through the other side.
Oh,
Yeah.
it slammed through the other side. God, this game is so good. If you
It's
haven't
so good.
watched the full GamePassPals that we talk about this, especially
Yeah.
once you played it, but like the TLDR, play this game. Oh my God, please just
Oh
play
my
this game.
god, bless.
It's very good. It's like I really like games with like a social impact, and this is by far one of the better ones I've played. Like none of the other ones on my list kind of I guess I was a teenage exocolonist is the only one that even comes remotely close, but I think Omori is phenomenal at what it does. So
Yeah. I mean, man, it hits hard. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can feel the passion. It's
yeah, you really do.
you feel all of the passion and every ounce of work that went into this game, and it was. I mean, it's there. It's phenomenal. It's so good. So definitely definitely give it your time. It's on Game Pass, and it's also like not even that expensive a game for how much you get out of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you'd rather play it on handheld, it's on Switch. I played it on Switch. It
Yeah,
was nice.
full price on Steam. This
Yeah.
game is $20.
worth every
like-
penny of it.
like-
I would pay more than that for this game.
This
like,
is, in my opinion, it could easily be like, if this was a $60 game, do I think people would shy away from it? Yes. But would it be worth every penny? Also, yes.
Yeah.
There's a reason that the reviews for this game are overwhelmingly positive. Literally 98% of all reviews for this game are positive. Like,
yeah, it's just it has such heart in it. Like the humor is just so good. Like
Yeah.
it's just such it's every new environment's just so fun to explore. You get to have a ghost party.
Yeah. I mean, well, and then also the mystery, like,
Yeah, just every part of it.
It's a great game.
Phenomenal.
and the way it like strings you along is like, it's like I think I know what's happening, but you're like, I just feel one step behind. I just
Right.
need one more
Yeah.
one more clue, one more piece of info. It's so
It's so
good.
good.
People, go play the game.
Yeah. If there's anything to take away from our top 10 list, is that how we all unequivocally have one number one should say a lot, especially considering how different like a lot of our games are. Like,
Yeah, we only had 2 overlaps total.
Yeah.
played
Right,
up.
besides
Well, other than number one being like
Yeah, but
the
besides-
like monolithic number one. We
Yeah,
had Played Up,
it
which
was-
is like complete opposite style thing, and then Tunic, and that's it.
Tunic. Yeah.
I think if you technically count honorable mention, we had I think one more other one, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
I don't think so.
I don't
but might
think
be
we
wrong.
overlapped an honorable mention. No, WoW, kind of. Asterisk.
Yeah.
No, he didn't say that.
I mean,
It-
it's because I'm
He
like
said,
I
we
would,
were
but I
here
didn't.
forever, and I said I liked it a lot, but I didn't honorable mention.
yeah.
it.
We had like ones that were like toying with very very closely, but yeah, God, just play the game, man. Play the game, or I mean, hey, at
Play
least
the game.
my friends who were here in the stream and got to experience and watch it through the my eyes, like I'm glad you at least got to see that story. I still think it's very much worth buying and experiencing on your own and getting to see all the secrets that I'm probably never going to find because I'm not going to go through and 100% this game. One, because
Yeah, I wonder how close I came because I feel like I got most of them,
yeah,
but
Yeah, you can check. Oh no, you can't check.
can't really check. Yeah, no,
Just
unless
you
you
can
just
switch.
automatically go through it all.
no,
Uh,
there's no, stop. There is one. It's built into the game because there's achievements that are beyond. You're nowhere near 100%ing it. First off, you're nowhere near 100%ing it.
Sure, the achievements and stuff. I was mostly like the secrets. And
Oh, okay, maybe. I don't know.
I
Like
got
it's
a lot of the weird ones.
there's a
There's-
lot of crazy stuff in
There is
there.
an achievement for both high-fiving Kel and refusing to high-five Kel.
What kind of
I got both
monster
of those.
refuses to high five Cal?
Consent is important, and it's good that it
Achievement
teaches consent.
hunters.
Listen.
But yeah, I'm really excited for the second playthrough too.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
crazy part. It's all our number ones. If we haven't done the second playthrough yet.
Yeah, we're still missing
Yeah.
a sizable chunk of the game, and it's still all
Yeah.
our ones. I mean, does it technically count as a second game that we play next year? Or are we not doing that because it's probably not going to be fair to have it be number one
could
2 years in a row?
You could honorably mention it. But
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't count as a full game.
Okay, that's fair. That's probably the fairest thing to do. Awesome. Well, I think that's gonna be it for this year. That's wild.
We did
I mean,
it.
it's
Yeah.
That was
early next
pretty
year.
good. I'm glad we timed that pretty well. That's
Yeah. It was almost perfect. Yeah.
that ended up working really well for something we planned like 2 days ago. So
We did it.
Yeah. Hey,
We're so good
but
at
it-
this.
what is the third Frog Fractions game, by the way?
it's inside of Frog Fractions the Frog Fractions 1 Game of the Millennium Edition,
I need to
but
see
you
if
have
I
to
have
buy
that.
the DLC for it. I think it's like Frog.
So I have to
Fractions
buy
Game of the Decade Edition, which
the
is free.
Hops hat, the Hops iconic hat one.
Yeah, I think you buy the hat.
Okay,
and
genuine
that's-
question: is it worth $4?
Hat not recommended for first-time players of Frog Fractions. I don't know. I haven't played it. I haven't played Frog Fractions 3.
Okay.
I've
mean,
heard good things about. I heard it's better than 2.
I see. The weird thing is, I actually liked 2. It's just the ending got a little long.
I didn't even see. I haven't played 2 at all, and I only saw you play like the first half of it. But
Excuse me. What do you mean the first half? I thought you were there when I was at the end.
I don't think so. Maybe it
You
was.
saw a half.
You're
I
very
saw
much
part of
worrying me
it.
now. Either well, to be fair, this is the problem with this game too. Is half the time I can't tell if I'm actually at the end or not.
That's fair.
No, I saw you when you were at Glitterminton Grove and like got in there.
Oh,
because you
okay.
did buzz.
Yeah.
You can buy the Frog Faction Cinematic Universe, which includes Glitterminton Grove and the Frog Faction's Game of the Decade Edition Hops Iconic Cap.
You love to
Oh,
see
man.
it. Yeah. I might go back and play. That was one of the ones that was like on in my brain of like actually kind of curious about. But there was the other one I was gonna look at. What is the game that you were talking about? That the full name, the one that you were just talking about that you said you liked quite a bit. That was weird. I am a teenage what?
I was a teenage exocolonist.
I'm gonna check to see if I own this on itch because I got a ton of games.
It came out like August of this year, so I doubt it.
I forgot itch exists.
It's nice. I use it as my game design portfolio.
I mean, it's not a bad bet.
Yeah.
I don't think I have it.
I like how I feel like your relationship with Frog Factions is really weird because I just like kind of offhandedly mentioned it, and then I don't think you really liked the first game a ton, but then you played the second one, and I was kind of surprised when you did.
Weird games are addicting, man. Also, like I already owned
I
it,
agree.
and it was just like something in my mind of like I should go play this.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a unique game, at least. It's
Yeah,
cool to experience.
it's not like it's like a bad thing.
Yeah.
So turns out I do not. I think it was in a different one, and I thought about buying that bundle, and then I didn't.
I doubt it's been in a bundle. It really literally released like 2 months ago.
Fair enough. I will also say I accidentally repurchased a game that I already own on itch because it's such a pain in the butt for me to figure out what I do on an itch.
Yeah, that's a mood.
Yeah, I mean, I forget it exists.
Yeah, I mean they do an okay job with their like launcher and stuff. Like I would actually, in some cases, argue it's better than the Xbox Game Pass one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Game Pass one isn't passable, but man, I wish it was
Well,
better.
On console, it's great.
Yeah, no, go figure. But yeah, all right. I'm tired, but this was an absolute blast. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna play the song to play us on out, and then see you this year, I guess.
All of you next year, or I guess
Hey.
this year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Have a good one, y'all.
something like that.
It was fun. Thanks for hanging out. It was a good New
Happy
Year's.
New Year,